fans have waited a decade for a game of this magnitude, and they will fill Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium tonight for Conference USA showdown with 19th-ranked Louisville. The conference race is down to the final weeks, and only 2 unbeatens remain. Louisville aims to be the first to repeat as Conference USA champ, but determined East Carolina stands in the way. College football Thursday night, presented by Circuit City from Sold Out. Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium in Greenville. 19th-ranked Louisville aiming for its 10th win. They've had that only once in their history. East Carolina standing in their way, and the winner will have the inside track to the host spot in the Liberty Bowl. They will have no worse than a tie for the championship in the 2001 Conference USA race. Electric atmosphere tonight in Greenville. Welcome. I'm Dave Barnett for the golf-bound Mike Tirico, and joined by Lee Corso, Kirk Herbstreit, Dr. Jerry Punch. Well, every league hopes for this, and Conference USA has it this year. A late showdown between unbeatens with the championship on the line. And Louisville has been here. They're the defending champions. And the arm of Dave Ragone has brought them back to the break again this year.
No question about it. He's a tremendous offensive football player. Don't be surprised if Louisville doesn't come out smoking early and try to jump on East Carolina and get this crowd out of the ball game. And if they do it, they'll do it with the pass. Quarterback Dave Ragone, a left-handed thrower that can also run it. This is an interesting stat. Dave Ragone has not had an interception in a Conference USA game this year. Yo, that's a yo automatically. Deion Branch, his wideout receiver, had a breakout game last week. Looked like a National Football League prospect for sure. Now, Kirk, I tell you what, I think the quarterback receiver at Louisville are the best in the conference, and I think East Carolina's pass on defense is going to be tested early. I mean, real early.
Well, Deion Branch is one of the best receivers in all of college football, and now that he's healthy, he's a treat to watch. But East Carolina can score points. In fact, they lead the conference in scoring, over 33 points a game, and they have an experienced quarterback. David Garrard has been around at East Carolina now 4 years as a starting quarterback, has great versatility, has the ability to run the option, but is known more for his arm strength, can throw the football 75 yards in the air. Unbelievable. It'll be exciting, and his big play threat is a man he hands the ball off to. Leonard Henry, 8.7 yards every time he touches the ball. Again, imagine averaging close to 9 yards a carry. It leads the nation. I think because of Louisville's defense, they're going to pressure East Carolina, and because of that, I think East Carolina has a chance with a big play through the pass.
They have a chance for their first conference championship of any kind in 25 years. The Southern Conference back in 1976. The last league to be won by the Pirates as they take the field in Greenville. Louisville and East Carolina kick it off. Next.
Omar Tire and Lube Express.
Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium, the campus of East Carolina in Greenville. And a Thursday night Conference USA showdown with a championship on the line. It's been very warm. It was in the 70s earlier today. It's still 54 degrees. A little overcast. Not much wind to worry about tonight. And let's send it down to the sidelines and Dr. Jerry Punch.
Thank you very much, Dave. You know, when these teams met last year in Louisville, East Carolina sprinted to an 18-point third-quarter lead and had to hold on as a fourth down pass just wrinkled off the fingertips of Louisville wide receiver Deion Branch. The kind of heart-stopping finish these East Carolina fans have grown accustomed to over the years. In fact, 2 weeks ago at TCU, thanks to the efforts of Leapin' Leonard Henry, the Pirates were up 27-3 at half. Then had to hold on and bat this pass away in the final seconds to preserve the win. Last Saturday in Cincinnati, East Carolina led by 22 at the half. Then had to stop a two-point conversion, which would have tied the game, as well as a 52-yard field goal attempt, which would have won the football game, both in the final 46 seconds. And you wonder why coaches get gray. East Carolina head coach Steve Logan knows this one tonight should be a thriller. And Dave, last time these two teams played here in Greenville, they combined for 108 total points. The final that night, 63-45, Louisville.
But he's still not very gray because he wins most of the time. Winningest coach in school history. Louisville has won the toss. They elect to defer. And Wade Talashka gets us underway in Greenville. And not returnable for Marvin Towns. So the top scoring group in Conference USA, about 34 points per game. led by their all-time leading passer and total offense leader, David Garrard, the senior from Durham. Third all-time in Conference USA history in pass yards. And the Bud starting offensive group for the Pirates with Leonard Henry, the great one, third in the country in rushing. Alston, a former quarterback, White, Collier, and Powell lead the receiving corps. And with Henry, a lone setback. Fake is to him. First pass of the night is complete. And Derek Collier bangs his way near first down for 9 yards. The offensive line for the Pirates will line up this way. Very consistent group. Rimpf, Walker, White, Schmidt, and Pope.
Keep your eyes, ladies and gentlemen, number 99, Dwayne White. You will see the best pass rushing, aggressive defensive end in the nation that no one is talking about. This guy is a football player.
So on second down, a little less than a yard. First option of the night. And Garrard with a pitch to Art Brown, who's out of bounds with a first down at a gain of the 34. Sophomore from Winston-Salem, their second leading rusher. The Louisville linebackers, Rod Day and Jeremy Freitag, with Chad Lee bothered by a sprained knee from a week ago.
In the back, Corey Burns, number 12, and Anthony Floyd, number 24. Really the leaders of the secondary and have pivotal roles tonight in making sure Louisville's defense is lined up right against the multiple formations of East Carolina.
So the first down pass, short toss is to the tight end, Arnie Powell. His 14th catch of the year. East Carolina going up against the number 7 scoring defense in the country. Louisville giving up just 14 points per game. And 10th nationally against the pass. So a lot of what East Carolina does well, Louisville feels they match up well against. Marcus White in motion. Garrard still with it after good play action fake and completed midfield. Richard Alston with an angle at the 11 brought down. 50 yards, Garrard to Alston, and Ronnie Galashaw saves a touchdown.
See the speed of Alston, but notice the mobility of Garrard. He's a big quarterback, gets to the outside away from the pressure that Lee talked about of the Louisville defensive ends. And Alston's a former quarterback. You can see when he catches the football, he has tremendous speed. He pulled away from the quick Louisville defense.
David Garrard looks exactly like Dante Culpepper on that play.
He's hit all 3 of his passes, 64 yards, keeps it on the option. And only a yard this time to the 10. John L. Smith in his 4th year, and he turned a 1-win program completely around.
Last night when I talked to John L., he told me his number 1 concern was coming out of the box on defense because he's afraid that East Carolina scores so quick. If they get behind this ball game, they're going to be in trouble. In fact, he told me 1 out of every 6 plays is a gimmick play, and the darn thing almost always works for East Carolina.
They've come out with a lot of different formations and a lot of different looks here. Really good attack by East Carolina on the opening drive.
Leonard Henry off tackle and spins to the 6. Jeremy Freitag makes the stop. Leonard Henry, senior, Clinton, North Carolina, is a semifinalist for the Doak Walker Award, which goes to the top senior running back in the country, and well-deserved with numbers like those.
I was very impressed. As I said in the pregame show, he's listed at 197. When Kirk and I sat there and talked to him yesterday, I say 210 and not an ounce of fat. Wouldn't you?
He has very little fat. He's one of those guys that maybe 2 or 3%, but he is running much faster this year and relieving people than he did a year ago.
Garrard with the option pitch. Henry turns it up and in for a touchdown.
All right.
Boy, it didn't take the Pirates long, and Leonard Henry gets his 14th rushing touchdown of the year. The extra point is added by Kevin Miller. the opening kick. 7 plays, 80 yards. Henry gives the Pirates the early lead. Back in Greenville and a 7-0 East Carolina lead after they take the opening kick, 80 yards. Big play, a 50-yard catch and run. David Garrard to Richard Alston, who until this year was his backup at quarterback. Kevin Miller kicking this one to Zeke Parker at the 8. And the return ending at the 23 rather rudely. So pretty typical East Carolina march. They don't take long to punch it in.
And the touchdown comes on an option by Dave Garrard. Now watch as he comes on the line. He's going to option off number 95, Devon Thomas, and pitch it with his left hand. Kirk, who played quarterback, a right-handed quarterback going to his left and pitching the ball is very difficult. He did it twice in that drive, didn't he?
Just shows you how much East Carolina works on the option to go along with the pro passing attack that they have. Tough offense to defend.
Dave Ragone and the Cardinals on their first play. It's intercepted. And Greg Lefevre returns it for Carolina. That is the first interception in conference play all season thrown by Dave Ragone.
All year.
And it's one that Dave Ragone would like to have back. He just simply misread this. Inside linebacker Lefevre is going to drop into coverage. And when he does, he bounces off the tight end and slips right underneath the slot receiver. It's a play that Dave Ragone has made all year. He just didn't identify the inside linebacker.
So the Pirates smelling 14-0. Go again to Henry, again on the left side. Touchdown. Now, even by East Carolina standards, that was a quick scoring drive. Yeah. 13 yards, 2 touchdowns in just over 3.5 minutes, and Miller makes it 14-0 Pirates. And with his 28th career touchdown, Leonard Henry ties the Conference USA record for rushing TD. Already, he has the 2 tonight. Well, a shocking start, especially when you see Ragone start the way he did.
It is. You expect Louisville to be able to handle themselves and show composure with the way they played all year. First, you go back. We talked about it at the break, expecting Louisville to answer Dave Ragone uncharacteristically throwing the football right into the hands of the inside linebacker Lefevre. Now they're going to run just a simple counter. The backside guard pulls Brandon Pope, gets a good block downfield, and then you can see the determination that Leonard Henry runs with right there.
Leonard Henry would never have that play if it wasn't right there for number 7, Terrence Copper. Now, Terrence Copper got into the face. The reason why that was a good block is he got up into the face of the defensive back and stayed on his feet and didn't lose control of him. That's why that was a good play, and that's why Henry got the touchdown, was the block of Copper.
Really an unselfish offense. If you look at the film and you talk to the coaches, they said, you know, we've had offenses around here that are more talented than this group, but what's unique about these guys is the chemistry and the work ethic and the fact they're unselfish.
Well, a replay of the first kick. Parker feels it at the 8, returns it just to the 24-yard line. And finally a chance to look at the rest of the Louisville Bud starting lineup behind Ragone Jr. Great St. Ignatius High School program in the Cleveland area, and has engineered his second straight 9-win season. TJ Patterson, the starter. See a couple of running backs besides him. Parker and the dangerous Branch, and Russell joins them with the wideouts, and Ronnie Gent dangerous as well. First team all-conference at tight end a year ago. J.R. Russell across in motion. First carry of the night, T.J. Patterson, good for about 5 yards. The sophomore from Florence, Alabama, the leading rusher, up near 500 yards now for the year.
Louisville's been able to be more consistent offensively in the last few weeks. A big part of that is they're finally healthy up front. This is the 3rd straight game where they've been able to start the same starting 5 in the offensive line.
Defensive front for East Carolina, Ty Hunt, Chris Howell, and Bernard Williams, the defensive MVP of their bowl game last year, the GalleryFurniture.com in Houston. Had a couple of sacks. He makes his 14th straight start tonight. And well protected to go deep middle and incomplete. It was in the hands of J.R. Russell, and he knows he should have had it. The East Carolina linebacker core, you've seen what Lefevre's capable of. Pernell Griffin, second in the country, averages 15 tackles per game.
East Carolina will use 5 defensive backs, and the linebackers also using zone coverage. You saw that in the first period where the linebacker Lefevre intercepted a pass. Their tackling ability in the back will be the difference between them winning and losing in this ballgame.
Triple stack of the receivers on the left side as Ragone looks from the gun. With a flag down, buys time, and that one is almost intercepted by Anthony Adams, the strong safety of the identical Adams twins, who are the starting safeties again this year for East Carolina.
Got a holding call there on Louisville, which East Carolina will obviously decline and bring up 4th down.
Holding on the offense. Penalty decline. 4th down.
When I saw Coach Smith last night, the last thing I said, good luck to him, and he said, the important part of this ball game is how we begin. This is the worst nightmare that coach right there could have. John L. Smith, the worst.
Long, long way to go.
Yep.
Keep their composure. They have plenty of offense to get back into this game.
So that is Copper back waiting for the kick from Talashka. Averages right at 40 and has not had one blocked all year. Good one. Copper has to go backwards and feels it at the 23-yard line and flags down. He's hit immediately by Brian Gaines. Maybe getting a little bit too close to Copper.
Flags down on the play.
Fair catch interference. Violation of the 5-yard zone. 5-yard penalty from the flag. First down.
Get that one out of the way early.
Your favorite. Your favorite.
Prime time football on ESPN just up the road. A possible landmark game for Maryland as the 9th-ranked Terps take on NC State. E.J. Henderson leading the Maryland defense, and he'll have Phillip Rivers, the NC State quarterback, to deal with. 7:45 Eastern Saturday, with Maryland having clinched at least a tie for the ACC championship, and they can win it outright. 16 years since their last ACC title. Gerard's first incompletion as he overshoots Derek Collier.
This game, the first 5 minutes, obviously has gone the way of East Carolina. Doug Martin, the offensive coordinator, talked about the speed of the defensive ends of Louisville, and he said that they have to mix it up. Bootlegs, nakeds, the option, counters. We've seen all of that here in their first few plays, and it's all been big plays for East Carolina. And you can tell right now, playing at home in front of this crowd with a conference championship potentially on the line, that East Carolina has come out very well prepared offensively.
Gerard blitzed and sacked at the 20-yard line. The 35th Louisville sack of the year. And Michael Josiah usually in the picture when they get the quarterback.
This is what Louisville's defense needs to do. They need to make a play to get the confidence back in this football game and try to make themselves believe that something to stop the bleeding from the early going of this game.
Sideline warning on Louisville. First warning.
Well, they're starting to crack down on the sideline warnings. You're seeing 1 or 2 every week now.
Well, here's an interesting note about Michael Osaya. When Michael Osaya starts off the game early with a sack, he usually is sensational. John L. Smith told me that when he starts off fast, he's a sensational football player. And if he doesn't, then he pouts a little bit. He's an immature kind of. But boy, tell you what, 6'3", 270 from Ghana that can fly.
Broke a tie with Kendrick Golston for their all-time sack record. Throw on the run by Gerard, wide open. Collier, head first dive, flips his way near midfield. And the Pirates pick up a long 3rd down, 25-yard completion.
3rd and 17. You're thinking that as a quarterback, you feel a little urgency. He simply slides in the pocket. Look at the arm on the run. And Minkins sitting back well beyond the first line marker. Surprising there to give him such a cushion. I know it's 3rd and 17, but you got to come up at some point.
The fake to Henry, and that pass was dangerous. It was down the line intended for Alston, and the Cardinals break it up really nicely with Josh Minkins getting into the mix.
You know, I saw Dante Culpepper play a lot because I'm from Orlando. He played UCF, University of Central Florida. And I'm telling you, just looking at this kid last year and the experience and the way he has improved this year, David Garrard, I'm telling you, Kirk, this kid can run. He's got a strong arm. We talked to him. He's very composed. I like this kid as a National Football League prospect.
Well, he's got the arm. He's got the intelligence. He calls the majority of the plays from the line of scrimmage. And his size, 245, 250 pounds.
This one hasn't bothered him at all at this level. A stretching catch, Terrence Copper's 9th of the year. And Garrard tonight, guys, 5 out of 6.
Looking good, too.
One thing the pros say they'd like to see him be able to prove is his touch on the underneath, the intermediate routes. He has plenty of arm strength, loves to throw the deep ball. Jeff Blake, who's from East Carolina, arguably, even though he's not playing still right now, he's a backup, throws one of the best deep balls in the NFL. And Garrard does that here for East Carolina as well.
Well, Richard Alston, we said, is the quarterback.
The option.
Behind Garrard until this year, and he'll take his snap on 3rd and 7. And run the option. Pitch to Copper. Cardinals had him surrounded. So that was supposed to be a surprise. It surprised nobody.
When he comes into the game, chances are they're going to try to take advantage of his speed. 3rd and 7 there. Louisville's defense, very athletic. When you try to go east and west against them, they can run that play down.
Let me tell you something. Garrard is unbelievable. Throws the ball straight. They can't stop him, so take him out on 3rd and 7. Tell me. Hello. No.
Number 4 punter in the country, Jared Preston, with Anthony Floyd back. Floyd last week a 52-yard touchdown return against Houston. This is a rare shank by Preston.
Is that first guess? First guess?
21-yarder by Preston. 14-0 start, though, has the Pirate fans excited. Really haven't seen the Louisville offense show up yet. They've been outgained 113-5. They don't have a first down. East Carolina has rolled up 5 first downs and 2 early touchdowns. And the 2 Cardinal possessions have lasted a total of less than 1 minute. 55 seconds.
Talking about the break, this game is still a long way to go. Louisville's offense will find itself.
DJ Patterson through the middle for a couple. Well, tonight's telecast of Louisville, East Carolina being seen live around the world by U.S. servicemen and women and their families through the facilities of the Armed American Forces Radio and Television Service. And what a pleasure it is to have all you folks enjoying this from Greenville, North Carolina. Conference USA co-championship at least on the line of the inside track for the Liberty Bowl, where Louisville took on the Colorado State last year. Chance for a return trip. And finally, they get a first down and a completion to Deion Branch for 11 yards.
I like that theory. They put 3 receivers to the wide field. Everybody from East Carolina rotated that way. They had one-on-one coverage with Deion Branch. He ran right straight down about a 12-yard, and then Branch comes and then makes a really good break. Nice throw. I tell you, I like that theory. 3 guys one way, throw it to the other guy.
Same formation here, 3 opposite. Branch down at the bottom of the screen.
Richard Owens went in motion, and a nice cutback by T.J. Patterson. Broke 1 tackle, reached the 48-yard line before Demaine Duckett ran it down. So the Cardinals finally may be getting into a little bit of an offensive rhythm.
You see the leadership out of Dave Ragone yelling at one of his offensive linemen. Got into a little bit of a shoving match and had to pull back Woodard, number 63, who almost got a 15-yard penalty. Ragone's saying, hey, it's tough enough right now, guys. We don't need 15 more yards.
Run over for the 5,000 career passing yards mark. On 2nd and 2, open over the middle and hanging on this time, Zeke Parker. It's the same pattern that J.R. Russell was wide open on and couldn't hang on to it, but Parker, the senior from Athens, Alabama, is right there.
This is very important when you're playing in defense that wants to sit back in zone. You have to be able to split the seams. Zeke Parker, nothing fancy, but the football is thrown perfectly between the safety and the hash mark and put it right where it had to be.
Watch it going to get hit right in the mouth with a left-handed hook there.
The ball was right on the money.
Oh, right on the money. He's a tough football player.
29 yards to Parker. Other completion and fighting his way out of bounds, J.R. Russell.
We talked about Gerard and how hard he can throw the football and his arm strength. Dave Ragone has similar arm strength and similar size. He's a big man at 6'4", 250 pounds.
Ragone's got one more year. Gerard comes out. And one thing about Ragone, remember, we talked about this last time we had him. He took his high school football team, Saving Nations, to the state championship in Ohio. And you've got to be an athlete to do that, my friend.
Right. Perfect on this drive, 3 out of 3, 45 yards. E.J. Patterson to the 17. And Pernell Griffin, Conference USA career tackling leader, joined by Chris Howell on this side. 444 in his career coming into tonight. School record 24 in one game this year against Wake Forest.
Pernell Griffin will have plenty of opportunities tonight to defend the run. East Carolina is spending most of their time focusing on the pass and leaving the run to the 2 inside linebackers.
Big play, 3rd and 3, and Ragone will throw it over the top to the end zone, and it is caught. Touchdown, Ronnie Jett, the tight end. And as Ragone well knows, they needed something out of that drive, the way they were double punched by East Carolina, 14-0 early.
Play action, putting the ball perfectly on the money, and they told us coming into this game that they thought Ronnie Jett had a chance to have a big game against this type of coverage. And early in the game, he comes up with a touchdown to put Louisville back in this football game.
Nathan Smith adds the extra point. A terrific job by Jett wrestling that ball away. Kelly Hardy in the end zone, and the Cardinals on the board. Cardinals come down with a real sense of urgency, trailing 14-0, and Ragone had the rocky start. The early interception leading to the second Pirate touchdown is perfect on this drive, culminating with the 17-yard Ronnie Jett touchdown pass. Wade Talashka will again kick it deep to Marvin Towns, second leading kick returner in Conference USA.
That touchdown not only gets them back in the game, but it takes the crowd for the moment out of the football games. That was a big score by Louisville.
Let me show you one of the reasons why that play worked. They put Deion Branch right there. That's that great receiver. They put him in a fullback, and they brought him here so they could get single coverage on that man deep. Now watch it. As Ragone goes one way, see Branch coming out there. They cover him one-on-one. That leaves one-on-one coverage with the tight end, Jett. That's why that play worked. Nice little move by the quarterback coach from Louisville. Get that guy in the fullback position.
Well, that ball was almost underthrown.
The play action on 3rd and short also got that safety up.
Yep.
Gerard firing that one, and they'll call it incomplete. Torrey Morris juggled it. It was a Nolan Ryan fastball, with Morris not quite able to bring it in.
That's what the scouts are talking about. Just a little bit more of a touch from Gerard on the underneath throws. Plenty of arm strength, but he still needs to develop that a little bit more consistently.
Gerard has been, as usual, on target self most of the night, only 92 yards. Out of the eye. Late option pitch. Art Brown hemmed in. Dwayne White with the tackle. We go down to Dr. Jerry Clown.
Guys, one of the best kept secrets in Louisville all week long was the status of Chad Lee, who's a major force against the run. And Chad Lee being sub for tonight by number 40 there, Rod Day. Chad, number 98, actually sprained a knee as he came off the field against Houston last week. No one knew he was injured. He was actually fine. Came to the sidelines. They examined his knee. Mild MCL strain, did not practice all week. Rod Day has been on the field subbing for Lee, and they miss him immensely trying to stop the run. Dave?
Chad, pretty doubtful about his chances to play. We talked to him last night, but felt strongly that Day and B.J. Steele, his backups, give a good showing. Flag on a 3rd and 12 snap. And Dan Bloom with the call.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 3rd down.
Chad Lee, the Cardinals' leading tackler, 92 stops on the year, junior from Bradenton, Florida.
For Louisville, outside of Chad Lee, the situation now 3rd and long. Chris Smealin, their defensive coordinator, told us this is the key. We have to get East Carolina into 3rd and long, so then we can turn loose our defensive ends to try to apply pressure.
Well, they picked up their last 3rd and 17. Not this time intended for Brown.
This game has a completely different feel to it. It's amazing. It's only been 1 quarter played, but the momentum, it's amazing in college football what momentum can do and how much it can favor one team to the next.
Preston ready to kick to Floyd. Conference USA Special Teamer of the Week for his touchdown return against the Houston Cougars last week. And after that 21-yard shank, much better effort this time by Preston. 53 yards, in fact. 32 yards better, and Anquan Yelverton is there to chase Floyd over to the side. Well, our weekly poll question on ESPN.com involving number 8 BYU. Should the Cougars be considered for a BCS Bowl? They are 10-0 with 3 games left. They are the top scoring offense in the country and the number 2 in total offense. And so those are some strong credentials BYU feels that they should be considered. First, they've got to win the Mountain West Conference Championship. They've got a showdown at home against Utah, ESPN2 Saturday night. And some business after that. B.J. Patterson squeezing out maybe a yard. So you can weigh in on the BYU to the BCS question. Polling open until halftime, and then stay tuned for the public response results in the second half. The Utes have won every trip to Provo from '93 on, so they come into that one Saturday with some confidence. And then the Cougars go to Mississippi State and Hawaii. They could finish 13-0 and have a real strong argument. What they don't have is a real strong schedule to back them up. 2nd and 9, Ragone with a strike. And a first down completion to the 40 of East Carolina to Tiger Jones. 3rd catch of the year for the redshirt freshman for 12 yards.
One of the things that Dave Ragone shows is tremendous composure, and he's a great leader also. But one thing that's interesting, the offensive staff went back to a 3-receiver to the wide field, got one-on-one with Tiger Jones, and went down and made a first down. It looks like to me, Kirk, immediately, when they need a big play, look one way, put 3 receivers, and go to the short side. Don't you think so?
Yeah, it's working for him so far, and Dave Ragone has a really accurate and strong arm when he sets his feet.
That one complete over the middle to Deion Branch, the 11th leading receiver in the country, just under 100 yards per game. And the 6th completion in a row for Ragone. So he really did settle down after the early interception.
Confident quarterback. I asked him, what's the difference in your ability right now compared to even 5 or 6 weeks ago? And he said, I'm seeing the field better, and I'm coming off the primary receiver, and instead of running and scrambling, I'm finding 2nd and 3rd receiver in these different routes. That's a sign of maturity.
2nd and 2. Gets tangled up to the 40, and down he goes. Ronald Pugh gets the sack, and a loss of 8.
More of a coverage sack by East Carolina. Deion Branch, who he initially was looking at, you can see, taken away. And the East Carolina secondary responsible for that sack.
And remember one thing, it was 2nd down and 2. Now, 2nd down and 2, most football teams would run it and try to get the first down. Louisville throws it because they're such a wide open offense.
Now 3rd down and 9. And much better protection on target for the first down completion. Zeke Parker makes the catch.
Woo.
Anthony Adams wraps him up, but Ragone again stands in there, finds whatever target he needs.
What they're doing, besides putting 3 on one side and going backside, the other thing they're doing is they're running simple curl routes in front of this zone. They're coming off the line real hard, showing that they're going deep, and then Ragone has the timing down perfectly with Parker and Branch, and he's putting the ball right where it has to be before the receivers are making the cut. Nearly impossible to defend.
7 straight completions. T.J. Patterson having a tough time as he swarmed as soon as he gets it in the backfield. And John Williamson, junior linebacker, the sack leader for East Carolina, is there for this stop.
Tim Rose, the defensive coordinator, told us that against this high-powered offense, we're going to sit back and play zone. I said, how much zone? He said 100%. We'll throw in some different coverages underneath to take away the underneath stuff, but we're going to sit back because we don't want to give them the easy touchdown pass. And right now, the underneath stuff is there, and Louisville's taking advantage of it.
Another completion. This is Patterson. Run out of bounds at the 23.
Tim Rose was the former head football coach at Miami of Ohio. Had a tremendous record there at 6 years, and he's one of the best defensive coaches around football. But the one thing that Louisville does now that he can't stop is they have so many weapons. They hit Branch. They hit the swinging back. They hit a delay. They run the draw occasionally, Louisville does, just to keep those defensive linemen at home. I like Louisville's offense very, very much.
Tough to defend.
It's tough to defend.
It's very tough to defend.
Here's Ragone on 3rd and 4. Again on target for Tiger Jones, who came into the night with 2 catches for the year. He's got 2 already here in the first quarter. Kelly Hardy is on him, but not before he has another Cardinal first down.
Exact same philosophy. Come off the line, sell it deep, ball is thrown, and then the receiver comes back to the football. The defensive backs, because they're sitting back and concerned about the deep ball, they keep backpedaling, and by the time they have a chance to react, Ragone has such a strong arm that the ball is already to the wide receivers before they can come up and try to deflect it away.
Triple stack again on the left side to give up the middle for T.J. Patterson, who's inside the 10.
Against that East Carolina defense, that time they used what they call a line twist. Everybody was going one forth, but Michael Bowers and Dan Coons up front did a nice job of pass protection.
End of the first quarter. It took 3 minutes and 34 seconds for East Carolina to take a 14-0 lead, but Ragone has led the Cardinals back within 7 and driving. He's hit his last 9 passes. Phil started the second quarter. Louisville trailing 14-7, but the 10th play of this drive coming. And it's Ragone. Blitz gets it off in time. His 10th consecutive completion has Zeke Parker at the 1, 1st and goal, Louisville. Driven out by Travis Heath, and after missing his first 3 passes tonight, Dave Ragone has been perfect ever since.
They're going to come on a blitz here. Number 2, Charlie Robinson. And when he comes, there's nobody to the outside that's going to take away Zeke Parker. They're very fortunate that Zeke Parker did pick up a block on Hardy, 28, and walk into the end zone.
They marked him at the 2, not the 1 where they originally had him. So this is 3rd down and a foot, and they lose yardage. That spot really hurt the Cardinals because the original marking had him out at the 1-yard line, and John L. Smith now has to get the kicking unit in. Well, a big difference between 1st and goal at the 1 as it looked like it would be, and coming up short on 3rd down and 1 for the 1st. And so they're going to get Nathan Smith in to try a 22-yarder. He's 11 of 15 for the year, and knocks that one right through. But the Cardinals have to settle for 3 and still trail 14-10. A drive that looked as if Louisville was ready to march in and tie the game, ending in a 21-yard field goal, and East Carolina still on top now, 14-10. And all their points in a little over 3.5 minutes after the opening kick, and they've been silenced ever since. And they've seen Louisville run off some long marches.
And remember, 7 of those East Carolina points were scored against the offense. So the defense has only allowed 7 points for East Carolina. University of Louisville's defense.
Second possession. Young throws an interception to Greg Lefevre. One play later, Leonard Henry's second touchdown made it 14-0. Marvin Towns smashed by Day at the 19-yard line. And after the first quarter, Dr. Jerry Punch had a chance for a quick visit with the Cardinals head coach.
Coach, good football teams respond to adversity. You were down 14-0. Your team responded pretty quickly.
Well, we did, but we did the one thing that we said we couldn't do is let them get off to an early start on us, and we kind of gave that. Now we just have to fight back, and we responded with one. Now we've got to get this next one back in there.
Thanks, Coach.
So the Pirates starting with 3 wideouts, and Brown taking the screen pass for big yardage up the sideline. He's finally knocked out of bounds at the 49-yard line by Curry Burns. A gain of 29.
Now the reason why that play works is because the University of Louisville took a chance on 1st and 10, and they came with a blitz from the outside. When the man blitzed, Gerard just threw a nice little swing pass right there. The number 33, Art Brown. Art Brown was open because his man who would have defended him took a chance and blitzed the quarterback and didn't get to him.
Good receiver, the third leading receiver, 16 yards per catch, and a lot better than that to get him near midfield. Gerard buying time, and his throw back across the field is incomplete, intended for Torrey Morris.
Quarterback David Gerard's pass intended for Torrey Morris. Falls incomplete.
Now John L. Smith has a team that definitely has momentum, but disappointed at having to settle for 3, and that's to kind of pump them back up again.
Defense is going to take some chances. We just saw a play that backfired on them because they blitzed. They play a lot of man coverage, and against a high-powered offense like this, you're going to win some for big sacks, and you're also going to give up some big plays.
Henry cutting it back to the 47 of Louisville, where Dwayne White makes the stop.
That's a perfect illustration of what Dwayne White gives them at 6'2", 280 pounds. He's the left defensive end. East Carolina runs a play off the left offensive tackle. He comes down to the line of scrimmage and makes a tackle. He's only a sophomore, and I'm telling you, this is going to be one of the best defensive ends in college football next year.
You know why he's special? Not only does he get excited to rush the passer, he also defends the run.
Exactly.
That's what makes him so good.
Gerard 3rd and 6. Feels pressure, steps up. Now pulls up, and that throw ill-advised into coverage is intercepted by Josh Minkins. Sophomore corner from Willingboro, New Jersey has the pick, and Louisville with the takeaway, which they specialize in. Nobody in the country's had more takeaways over the last 2 years than the Louisville defense.
Mixing up coverage. Nice job by Chris Smealy, and that time playing a little bit of man underneath, but sitting back with some zone as well. Minkins just waiting. Number 5. And that's when a quarterback starts to scramble, it becomes backyard football. And in that case, Josh Minkins did a great job of baiting Gerard into throwing that one for the interception.
66th turnover over the last 2 seasons forced by the Cardinals. This swing pass to Parker is close to the first down yardage across the 40. Josh Minkins with the latest thievery for the Cardinals. 42 interceptions now over that 2-year span. 2 better than Virginia Tech.
East Carolina in their last 2 games, and we'll talk about this throughout the telecast, but they have been able to jump out with big first halves against TCU and in Cincinnati, and then had to hold on in the second half. Well, in this case, they jump out the first 5 minutes, and now all of a sudden they're flat. You can see this characteristic right before our eyes that they've shown the last few games.
A little different difference on what the snap count was supposed to be. It appeared Dan Coons thought one number, Ragone, and everybody else on the offense thought another. Coons has had some adventures with shotgun snaps.
False start on the offense. Still second down, 5-yard penalty.
And that's a snap that never came. So they will have to snap it back from their 36 now on what was to be a 2nd and 1. They now need 6. Ragone well protected. Now chased by Duckett. And out of bounds at the 38. Ragone up 15 pounds from a year ago, but has gotten faster as he's gotten stronger. Even up to 250 pounds, they still can run about a 4.7.
Still only a junior, but this is what I love about Dave Ragone. His strength. They get pressure on him. He pushes away from a couple tacklers. Now he's going to get downfield. Typically doesn't run out of bounds. Still needs to develop that characteristic, but he is a big, strong quarterback. And Dave, you mentioned it. He's got enough speed to avoid pressure. It's a heck of a combination.
Can they keep it going? 3rd and 4, pump fake, and incomplete. Too tall, too hard for T.J. Patterson to bring it in. And Ragone visibly frustrated. He had hit his previous 11 passes in a row.
Interesting also, Ragone had 6 first downs, University of Louisville did, all of them by the pass. They haven't had a first down running the football yet. They've only got about 9 yards minus rushing the football. They're going to have to get more offensive balance, Kurt, if they're going to continue to move the ball in this team.
Alaska, end over end. Fielded on the knee at the 19-yard line by Terrence Copper. 44-yarder by Talashka. 12:25 in the first half. 14-10 Pirates. And a much more serene scene that we've got inside Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium. 12:25 to go in the first half. Dave Barnett with Lee Corso, Kirk Herbstreit, and Dr. Jerry Punch. The Pirates with a 14-10 lead starting at their 19. Right, short toss complete to Collier. And let's send it down to Dr. Jerry Punch.
What could be a pretty serious loss for the Louisville Cardinals. You're looking at sophomore defensive end Dwayne White, who is their major force against the run in the pass. White a moment ago had his right hand taped up by Raymond Shea, the orthopedic surgeon. Apparently he has a fracture of the 2nd metacarpal. That's the bone in the hand at the base of the right index finger. He may or may not be back on the playing field. They're trying to get Chad Lee maybe to get ready to go in and play defensive end. They are very thin up front defensively. Dave?
That is a shame. Especially if he can't come back at all. Another short toss caught by Collier and wrapped up immediately. White has averaged more than a sack per game in his 2 years.
Watch number 99, Dwayne White. As we were talking about, Kirk mentioned that not only is he a run pass rusher, but he hurts his hand coming across and making the tackle on a run.
I noticed that play that he injured it. I was watching him this whole play, and look at the courage. He's not even using his right arm, and he's going up, and he actually runs down Garrard before he throws that interception, basically playing with one arm. Boy, that guy's a tough guy.
Redshirt freshman Marcus Jones is his replacement. Flags everywhere on the carry by Henry.
Well, I'm going to bet you guys a nickel. They're going to put some foam rubber on that thing.
Well, he's trying to talk to him.
He'll be back in there sooner.
There he comes. He's
going
on the field right now.
That doesn't look like a guy who thinks he's done for the night.
No.
Look, he's asking if he can play without enough. Is it have enough padding?
Well, there's our answer.
Yep, look at that.
Well, guys, the field judge looked at the padding. What they did, they put a fiberglass splint or cast, and then they put rubber padding over it, and the Conference USA official has to clear the pad. Here's Raymond Shea. That's the fiberglass cast underneath it, and the half-inch thick rubber pad on top. It has been cleared, and he has been inspected on the sidelines. They look at him in the huddle, and they will let him stay in the football game.
Tough guy.
Boy, he's a tough player, boy.
Throwback.
My favorite.
Roll up your sleeves.
My favorite.
Dwayne White, in his senior year in high school, Marbury, Alabama, tore an ACL Henry on the carry near midfield, and if not for that injury, White would have been much higher on the recruiting radar. It seems like Alabama, Auburn, Georgia Tech, they all lost interest after the injury, and his choices were Louisville, Alabama State, and Tennessee Tech. Another case of a guy who came back from an injury that most of the country did not expect him to.
How often do we see dominating defensive ends in college? When we ask them, what do you play in high school? All of them say, running back, linebacker. It's always that combination of superior athletes to get moved to defensive ends.
He was a running back, three-time All-State. Brown shaking the hit by Brian Gaines, and now reverses field, breaks another tackle. Inside the 35 for Art Brown. Some of the hardest 17 yards you'll ever see.
Art Brown is 5'9", 205 pounds, from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, Kirk. And I tell you what, he was hard to break down, but the key to that play was that they had too much pursuit.
That is a quarterback. David Garrard at 250. Boom! Right there. David Garrard picked up the block, and that really was the blocker that freed Brown to pick up big yardage.
Garrard with a fake to Henry, going deep for Powell, stretches into the end zone and can't hang on. Almost his third touchdown catch of the year. Garrard laying it right out on his fingertips at the pylon.
ECU.
Talk about when you talk to his teammates, why every single guy looks up to him and respects him. That's it. Here they come with some trickery.
Little slant ahead is going to turn into a touchdown for East Carolina. As DeMarcus Fox watches everybody in a white jersey turn their attention to the left side of the field. Meanwhile, they slip it to Fox. 34 yards later, untouched for a touchdown.
That's the punt Ruski, famous by Florida State against Clemson, except from the line of scrimmage. You're going to love this play.
Miller adds the extra point. True freshman from here in Greenville. And DeMarcus Fox fooling everybody in the stadium,
Including us. We got to go back and look at this. Little trickery. Louisville knew to expect it about every fifth or sixth play. They're always going to go to it. And here's Fox, the freshman. They're going to have action going away with the option. And watch the defense flow with the option. Hands it right there to Fox. Everybody's running away, including the defense. And he's got a convoy down the sidelines. And by the way, he's pretty quick.
Okay, the reason that's the same play as punt Ruski, Florida State did it from punt formation, stepped up and handed to the guy, and everybody came around to the opposite end. Another reason that worked, we were talking up here, and they went on a quick count. Louisville was off guard, we were off guard, the nation was off guard, and East Carolina scored. They are famous, and John L. Smith told me that every fifth or sixth play, they run a trick play, and they're the best in the nation at running them. Great compliment for Steve Logan and the East Carolina team.
He's been doing that for years, and I think when you have trick plays like that, the timing of the trick play is key. And that's research and that's studying, and in a short week to know when to pull the trigger on that, that's a great job of coaching by Steve Logan and his staff.
A moment ago, it looked like Louisville would march in to tie it 14-all. Now they look up, trailing by 11. Parker, nowhere to go.
Returns Scott Miller's kickoff.
Rover Benton for the East Carolina kick coverage unit.
Making the tackle.
Tomorrow night here on ESPN, beginning at 7 Eastern, a doubleheader, college basketball with the preseason NIT. And Wake Forest visits Arkansas, followed by Cincinnati at number 18 Oklahoma State. Plus, we'll have live coverage of Bobby Knight's return to coaching as Texas Tech host William and Mary will have the tip. We'll have some live cut-ins from Lubbock. And previews of these and other games coming up on ESPN.com. Patterson all the way across the field for a gain of the 22. Pernell Griffin chases him every inch. Close cousin to the old fumble routine, executed perfectly here by DeMarcus Fox.
Yeah.
I think it fooled plenty of people. Worth another look. Simply hands the football off. And what's amazing is you can tell how much they practice that. They must have a count in their head to about 4 seconds, because the defense was already gone and the guys were still sitting there waiting with great patience.
This will be very close for a first down for Patterson.
The defense was 20 yards away from the ball. Those guys wouldn't go anywhere. They were sitting there still waiting.
I like these two calls by the University of Louisville. I made a statement before. They had negative yardage rushing the football. They need to get some more offensive balance so they can slow down the pass rush so Dave Ragone can throw the football again. Remember, it's very important, even if the play doesn't make any yards, at least to keep the defensive lineman at home, not chasing your quarterback.
On 1st and 10, deep slam in the middle of Patterson.
The other thing it does, if you notice that time, East Carolina had about 8 or 9 guys up tight at the line of scrimmage. Big mistake against this offense, because now play action, we go over the top with Branch. If he gets one-on-one coverage on the outside, that's what Louisville wants to try to get.
Coach, you alluded to it. Tim Rose has seen it twice. Last 2 games are up 24 at the half at TCU. They won by 7. They were up 25 at Cincinnati. They won by 2, and they had to stop a 2-point conversion and sweat out a 52-yard field goal trying to do that. And the Cardinals well aware of that. Not thinking at all they're anywhere close to out of this. We're going on the keeper, brought down by Ty Hutton right at the first down marker.
So the moral of that story is, if you're thinking of flipping this game off, forget about it. Stay here.
Making the tackle for ECU.
Stay here. It's going to end up in a thriller.
And that was against, with all due respect, TCU and Cincinnati. This is a Louisville offense that has the ability to score on just about anybody they play.
Right.
This meeting last year, East Carolina up 28-10 late in the 3rd quarter. They won by 3. And Ragone knocked out of that game. Says the worst game he ever played. 3 interceptions. Mike Watkins, his backup, led the Cardinal comeback. Fake it short, throw it deep, too deep. Off the hands of J.R. Russell and incomplete. And again, what's at stake tonight is clinching a share of the Conference USA Championship. These are the last unbeatens remaining. Inside track to the Liberty. Louisville can win 10 for only the 2nd time in its history. East Carolina can win a conference championship for the 1st time in 25 years. And they've had great teams, beginning with that 1991 11-1 Peach Bowl champion, number 8 in the country team, coached by Bill Lewis, who then went to Georgia Tech. Logan took over and has taken them to bowl contention most years. Patterson fighting his way around right end and a gain to the 43. Nothing new for East Carolina to be knocking on the postseason door. 10 years for Logan. They're eligible for their 5th bowl in that span. But what would be new would be to go in as a conference champ.
In our conference call with him, and I talked to him, he said the BCS, though, has really hurt him, because those players from North Carolina, East Carolina, used to come here, are now looking to go someplace else. He's not a great believer, as Steve Logan is, in the BCS standards.
We're going up against the play clock. 3rd and 3. Deep middle, Branch inside the 30. First down, Louisville. Deion Branch had been rather quiet. That's just his 3rd catch. Antoine Adams brings it down after 27 yards.
2 types of passes that Louisville's throwing. The deep curl underneath his own coverage and splitting the seam. This time, Jerome Stewart, number 20, and Antoine Adams, number 13. He got right in between them, and the ball led him perfectly in stride and kept him away from the 2 defenders where nobody could make the play except for Branch going up to catch.
46 yards tonight. 3 catches. He came in 106 yards away from 1,000. Tony Stallings in there for Patterson, last year's rushing leader. Senior from Bedford, Ohio. John Williamson with the stop on Stallings. Louisville again with an extended drive to keep the crowd at Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium Rather quiet. We head to the 6-minute mark in the first half. East Carolina has led all the way after striking twice in the first 4 minutes for a 14-0 lead. Ragone rolling, chased, still gets a strike, and Parker can't hang on. Now, to complete a comeback like this, you can't have drops. They've had 2 or 3 right in their hands.
Ragone could have had a little bit more time there, and he made a nice throw to Parker, but he had Deion Branch on an out and then up on a chair route, and he was all by himself standing in the end zone. East Carolina relying on their front to get pressure on Ragone, and that time they were able to do it, but Parker still should have made the catch.
Branch right now is slot left as Ragone looks on 3rd and 6. And another strike, Tiger Jones. By far the biggest game of his young career. Redshirt freshman moves the chains again.
Deion Branch, number 9. The reason why this play worked is Deion Branch, number 9, will stretch the field deep, and Tiger Jones will run a little square out. You notice why he's so wide open there? It's because Deion Branch is wide open deep in the end zone. They double covered him. Tiger Jones from Mobile, Alabama, redshirt freshman. Good-looking football player, has played very well tonight.
As many catches as Deion Branch has. Branch in motion on 1st down. And it's Patterson back in, and again testing the middle. Saturday at noon here on ESPN. Big game in the Big Ten with number 12 Illinois at Steve Belisari, Jonathan Wells, and Ohio State. Both still contending for the Big Ten championship. Our coverage begins at 10:30 with game day from Miami. And then on to the Horseshoe. And Kirk, Steve Belisari, who has had nothing but detractors his entire career, looks like he's finally solved some things.
Last 2 weeks, offensive line playing better, and his numbers are phenomenal.
Ragone forced to keep. Breaks tackles down to the 9. And got cracked hard after a gain of 5 by Anthony Adams.
The big thing you said there, gain of 5. He keeps getting pressure, but instead of being now at 2nd and 12 or 2nd and 13, he has enough of a feel in that pocket to get away from the pressure. And then he's got the speed for a guy 250 pounds. He's outrunning linebackers and defensive linemen, and he puts them now in 3rd and short as opposed to 3rd and long.
Instead of sliding, also, he's tough enough to put his head down and get that extra 2 yards.
13-16 with a couple of drops since the 0-for-3 with an interception start for Ragone. Here's 3rd and 3. And Ragone into the end zone and another drop. Zeke Parker had run the pattern right where Ragone expected him to. Hit him between the 8 and the 0. And yet they again have to settle for a try for a field goal. There's not a smile of happiness, more of a grimace on the face of John L. Smith. Last time they were down this close, they thought they had 1st and goal at the 1. Fumbled out of bounds at the 3. Ruled 3rd down. They were stopped and settled for a 21-yarder by Smith. And this one from 26 is also good. But that's twice they've had to settle for 3 when it looked like they were a good chance to get 7. And so the margin still 8 for the Pirates.
Saturday on ESPN.
Well, Ragone twice on that 14-play drive had it right in the hands of Parker and right out of it.
Well, Zeke Parker should have reached out there. The reason he missed it, he let the ball come in too close and reached out there and caught it with his hands. Athens, Alabama, senior, should have had that one.
He'll bounce back. He's a 4-year starter. He'll have plenty of opportunities in the second half to try to redeem himself.
Well, he leads the team in total offensive yards per game, 103. All-purpose, he's a terrific football player. But the reason he dropped that, didn't make the catch, he didn't reach out with his hands and let it come in too close to his body.
So that's twice that the Cardinals have had to settle for 3. 14 plays to get only a field goal that time. Return from the goal line by Marvin Towns. And about 3.5 minutes in the first half of the Pirates to work with.
Returning to close to kickoff.
First drop right here. That's the Zeke Parker right there.
What I like is Ragone went back to him on his second time. Didn't hesitate. You know, I guarantee he'll go back to him again. Sure. He will not hesitate because of the experience and trust that he has. Parker will bounce back from those misses.
Gerard's had success on this screen to Brown. Last time broke it big. There's a marker down this time. We may have hold. Even if we don't, it loses 5 yards.
Number 86, Torrey Morris, did a little dance. Reached up and grabbed the defender from Louisville. Threw him down. Right in front of the official. Right there, Torrey Morris. Toms River, New Jersey.
And they're going to decline it and take the loss.
Get this offense to lose 5 yards. Push them back a down, make it second down now and about 14. You'll take advantage of that every time you can get it.
Four wides this time for Gerard, and movement as the Cardinal defensive line applauds and points across the line as if they were drawn off.
Corey Schmidt.
False start. Plenty offense.
66.
5-yard penalty. Still second down.
I hate to count out these guys that are making mistakes, but this is where you lose focus, and this is why they've been losing these leads. They get ahead. And remember, there's a very important point to make here. There's 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Louisville has 2 timeouts. They got to be very careful, Kirk. They have a turnover here.
Yeah. You know, I think this is on Gerard a little bit. You got to have tempo. When there's a little bit of a lull right now, I think it's on the quarterback to get in and out of the huddle and try to get this offense going a little bit. They need a little bit of a spark. This series has not been good.
Now they need 18, and they start with Henry. Gets them a little beyond the original line of scrimmage to the 19-yard line.
I know this is conservative, but I would give it to Henry again and see if I could break a long one. And the reason why this play works, it's a draw play. They give him the play, look, the impression they're going to throw a pass, and they give Henry the run.
Oh, no, his average is down. He's only got 7 yards tonight.
It's going to kill him.
He's going to kill that 8.7.
I would not throw the football here. I would go in with an 8-point lead. Wouldn't take a chance.
Gerard wants to get accomplished. Can't get away from Josiah.
I say
and he is tossed almost all the way back in the end zone.
Well, let me tell you why I say that at the first guess. That's a stupid call offensively. You're trying to throw a screen. Everybody in America knows it. Now they got a chance with bad field goal. The reason why I'm saying that, Kirk, is don't get greedy. You got a 21-13 lead. Take a nice run, punt the ball, play defense, and be happy. But no, they get greedy and they make a stupid call like that.
And a loss of 13 on Josiah's second sack. They are coming after Preston. Great field position coming here. The Floyd return to the 37-yard line. And they leave 1:40 on the clock for the Cardinals. Coming up at the half, Sports Center in game. The Keystone Light halftime report with Linda Cohn. Checking in on yet another Cy Young for Roger Clemens. Dallas taking on Detroit in the NBA, and a sunshine showdown. Just moments away. 1:40 to go, and the Cardinals have all 3 of their timeouts. Moving the ball at will, but having to settle for too many field goals so far. That's Deion Branch, who tonight has become the Louisville all-time leader. That's his 130th career catch.
At the sideline to Deion Branch.
This is typically where Deion Branch will make a play. This is where you're going to find Dave Ragone looking for him. But I think that East Carolina defense is going to try to take him away, and I think it's going to give Zeke Parker, number 80, another opportunity to try to make a play. He's at the top of the screen.
4-man rush. Ragone time to scramble and hit Tony Stallings at the 29-yard line with the clock rolling at 1:20.
Anthony Adams.
Waiting to see if they get a first down signal or a timeout call, and it will be Louisville using its first timeout.
Timeout.
Billy Gerard in East Carolina up 21-13. College football with a conference championship on the line, Greenville, North Carolina. And it's third and about a foot after the Cardinals called their first timeout with 1:17.5. Tony Stallings is inside the 25, and that'll stop the clock for the chains to move at 1:13. First down.
Tony Stallings is a nice 5'11", 215-pound junior who played last year as a defensive linebacker. Tough kid.
Radone running out of time. All that to get back to the line of scrimmage. And they will call their second timeout with 53 seconds.
He is brought down by Richard Julia.
And with another Louisville timeout, let's check in with Linda Cohn on what's in store at halftime.
Thank you, Dave. We look forward to the big dissection of the big game, Florida State at the half. We'll also have some hockey vision with the Devils taking on the Bruins. And, of course, our weekly hidden video segment. All this coming up at the half. Now back to you, Dave.
All right, Linda, and worth repeating again, East Carolina is a team that expects halftime leads. They have them so often, but usually they're a lot bigger than this. And so even if Louisville does not get anything out of this, there's a lot of reason for them to be encouraged after halftime.
John L. Smith is doing exactly what he said. He told me last night if he could stay close at halftime, he thought that his experience and his football team could beat him in the second half.
Well, opportunities have presented themselves for Louisville, and they've got to capitalize right here. You mentioned punt the ball, take the 8-point lead, and be happy. They didn't do that. Louisville with another opportunity. We're going to see a lot of action in the second half as well. It's a long way to go.
As we would expect, two of the top scoring teams in Conference USA, both undefeated. 5-0 in league play coming in. Louisville spotted East Carolina at early 14-0 lead, and they've come back steadily. Now the final minute of the first half. Radone looking deep and incomplete, intended for Parker. So they'll have third and 11. Let's go down to Jerry Punch.
Guys, East Carolina's All-American Pernell Griffin, there he is, number 47, has been on the sidelines the last 3 plays that they have been on defense. He came running off the field holding his left hamstring. Now Mike Henley, the ECU trainer, put him on the ground, began stretching it. He is up, walking around, but not back in the ball game as of yet.
That's the all-time leading tackler in the history of this league. Tough man to do without. Radone, sideline pattern. Branch takes his eye off. Even if he catches it, he may not be in bounds, and it's 4th and 11.
Now you got to give the East Carolina defense a little credit here, and Tim Rose, the defensive coordinator, because they really rose up here. Maybe they're going to force a field goal, and if they force a field goal, I think they win.
Pirates want to ice Nathan Smith for 42 seconds. And they call their first timeout. Down near the end of the first half. Nathan Smith is 2 for 2. He's hit from 21 and 26, and he lines up a 42-yarder out of the hole of Stephon LaFours, and the snap from Chip Mattingly. Blocked. The Pirates hold. The main ducket for East Carolina.
One of the reasons why long field goals are blocked by soccer kickers up the middle is they try to plant, kick it too hard, and they don't get, Kirk, they don't get enough height. Now watch this ball as it comes off his foot. It isn't high enough. You can see how he strains right there, and it doesn't come up. I'm telling you, I've seen this 1,000 times. Watch him strain to get that last little bit in it, and it doesn't go high enough. And when they kick extra points, they come to him nice and smooth. It's exactly the same principle as Mike Tirico will tell you. If you hit the ball nice and smooth, it'll go just as far if you grunt.
Not with you though. In the big, what do you got? The big Hippo?
Hippo.
A big hippo.
You like the little commercial on the Hippo?
Yeah.
Those Hippo drivers are the best thing in America.
See,
John
hold on a second.
When I have
When you go with the Hippo, you go easy swing, right?
easy swing.
Nice. I can see the scooter out there.
Get this straight. The Hippo is a golf club?
Yes, sir. It's a driver,
sir.
the world's best.
It's about like this.
That's what I've been needing all these years.
Yes, sir.
End of the half. East Carolina 21-13. We'll see if they do a better job tonight protecting a lead in the second half as we send you to Lynn the Cone.
Good stuff.
USA Basketball. Picture perfect.
Louisville Cardinals trailing by 8 with 30 minutes to try and win their 10th of the year, wrap up their second straight Conference USA crown. East Carolina has had difficulty protecting second half leads much bigger than this one. It's 8-21-13 as we get set for the second half. Total of 436 total yards. The usual balance on display for the Pirate offense, and as usual most of the damage from Dave Ragone through the air for Louisville. Back in Greenville, Dave Barnett with Lee Corso and Kirk Herbstreit, and now we'll see what East Carolina has learned about these last two close calls in the second half.
Well, one of the things about East Carolina and why they're still in the ball game, Kirk, is the fact that they made that questionable call and gave Louisville good field position just before the half. The defense rose up and stopped them. I think that was a big play in the first half.
Really, it's been 3 times because Louisville's offense has been able to penetrate the red zone, and 3 times they forced them to kick field goals. So East Carolina, even though they started off really well, you're right, they're fortunate to have the lead at this point, but you can thank their defense.
Exactly.
Because they came up, and once they were in the red zone and made the plays they had to make.
We came in talking about Leonard Henry, figuring that East Carolina wanted to have a real good chance of sewing up conference offensive player of the year. He's not even the leading rusher on his team tonight. He's 99 yards below his per game average, and Art Brown has him by 3 yards.
Dave Ragone has made some plays tonight. He'd also like to have some help from his wide receivers. They've dropped some key passes.
And here's the old famous punt Ruski turned into the handoff Ruski. DeMarcus Fox, a true freshman right here from Greenville, North Carolina. Trick play. Remember, J.L. Smith told us that East Carolina does as well as anybody in the nation when they run those trick plays because for some reason they know how to coach them better than anybody else. And he was expecting it, but they still jumped up and bit him.
Yep.
East Carolina set to get the second half underway. Kevin Miller taking it deep to Zeke Parker. Parker with the first and only Miller preventing a touchdown. He can't get him with a dive. This is going to be a 91-yard Zeke Parker touchdown return. His 4th career touchdown on a kickoff return, and his first since the '99 Humanitarian Bowl. And what a start to the second half for the Cardinals.
I told you Zeke Parker would get his redemption.
Oh, yeah, but wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I told you. Boy, good blocking and outstanding speed from Zeke Parker. Most teams kick away from Zeke Parker. And East Carolina, maybe the rest of this game, will do that very same thing.
And he made up for the drop in the end zone.
That's what I said.
for 2.
That's what I said. Redemption, baby.
Going for the tie, and Ragone's pass for Parker incomplete. But Louisville returning the second half kick after they saw East Carolina score 14 points the first 3 minutes and 26 seconds of the first half.
Scott Linehan, the offensive coordinator, told me that one of the ways Zeke Parker likes to help this team out is with big returns. He said the problem is most people kick it out and take the ball to the 35-yard line. This time they kick to him, and he gets redemption. I told you, as a 4-year starter, when you make a few mistakes in a game early, you're looking for an opportunity to come back. And that's exactly what Zeke Parker was able to do right there.
In this situation right here, what East Carolina did to make that play work is they got one defender behind another, and they get a I formation look, and when you knock one guy down, it all falls down. The reason why that play worked is because Louisville did not, East Carolina did not spread the field out. And they left the gap, and he was gone.
And another one. 4 career touchdowns on kick returns. A remarkable number. And a remarkable start to the second half, and all of a sudden things looking up for John L. Smith after a first half marked by missed opportunities for 6 and having to settle for 3. And the last time that happened, the attempt at 3 was blocked. And now Kalashka. Too deep for Marvin Towns to return it. And let's check in with Dr. Jerry Punch.
Guys, at halftime, East Carolina, he didn't even make it to the locker room before their fans had walked around behind the Coliseum and were chanting second half, second half. They know what's happened in the second half of the last couple of games. In the locker room, the coaches were saying this. This is the half that matters. 30 minutes away from the title. Doug Martin talked about the fact that Louisville has not given up but 1 touchdown in the second half defensively in their last 5 football games. We want 5, he said, and with that in mind, he drew up a very special play, which they have never practiced. They're going to run early here in the second half.
All right, we'll watch for that. Losing his footing, but making the catch is Derek Collier. Senior from Albany, Georgia. Good for 6 yards. What East Carolina's done in the second half, something that maybe be keeping Steve Logan up at night, because look how they've dominated their last 2 first halves. And then completely shut down after halftime.
In fact, against Cincinnati last week, they didn't even cross midfield. They didn't even cross midfield in the second half.
Leonard Henry may squeeze out a yard, if that. He's swarmed by the Cardinals, led by Curry Burns. Hard-hitting junior strong safety, joined by Rod Day.
2 things that happens from a football coach's standpoint in the second half if your team doesn't perform well. Number 1, it's either lack of conditioning and you've worked them too hard that week and they lose their legs, or number 2, they lose focus. And that has to be done by the coaches to call the right plays at the right time to keep them focused and be aggressive.
3rd and a long one. Gerard with the option to Henry is going to be stuck again by Rod Day and lose yardage. So the Cardinals have prevented really any damage since the second touchdown by Leonard Henry.
The other thing that happens in the second half when the opponent returns a big kickoff return is you get momentum. When you're playing on the road, you couldn't ask for anything better than to open the second half with a kickoff return. Look how fast that defense is moving right now. That doesn't even look like the same defense that we saw in most cases in the first half.
Jared Preston. You can get to Anthony Floyd, and look where the Cardinals are going to start. Return the second half kick, 91 yards, making a 2-point game. Now they start 45 yards away. And let's check it again with Dr. Jerry Punch.
Well, Herbert, you hit it directly on the head with what happened in the Louisville locker room at halftime. It had nothing to do with X's or O's. You know that John L. Smith is a very fiery, emotional coach, and he simply told his team, we have got to come out and play our butts off. I'm basically paraphrasing what he said. We're playing with no intensity, no emotion. We will play a second half like Louisville should play, and indeed they've started.
In the hands of the defense right now, the Pirates, as they get T.J. Patterson behind the line. John Williamson there to cut it down.
Is tackled by John Williamson.
Well, you talked about, Coach, the issue being either loss of focus or conditioning. East Carolina would never consider a problem in conditioning. They consider themselves to be the best conditioned team in the country year in, year out. Louisville may give them a run for that, but
I think everybody likes to consider themselves the most conditioned team.
That's low and incomplete for Branch. Branch is pattered about a yard short of the first down marker anyway, so it'll be 3rd and 12.
And then when I go back to the other point about lack of focus, that means your team has a tendency to get lackadaisical. Now, a coach can bring a team out of that kind of attitude with aggressive play calling. They were very conservative the last time they got the ball. They're very conservative on defense. You got to turn them loose. Next time they get the football, they got to come out smoking, East Carolina does, and get back into this game.
Ragone steps up, floated that one, and it's off the hand of Ronnie Gent. And the Pirate defense turns in a quick 3-and-out.
Intended for J.R. Russell, holds incomplete.
It's a case where the quarterback expected the tight end, Ronnie Gent, to come across at a sharper angle. Gent got a little bit upfield, still could have made the catch, but Dave Ragone led him perfectly, hit it right on stride, and he had plenty of room if he made the catch to pick up the first down and then some.
This is Nathan Smith on the punt and unable to kill it inside the 5. 12:24 in the third quarter. Louisville has narrowed the gap to 2. Conference USA Championship on the line. East Carolina 21-19. They start after the touchback at their 20. And it's been a quiet night for Leonard Henry. Other than the fact that he got him a 14-0 lead and 2 short touchdown runs. Not much has happened for him since. And this throw is incomplete. Right into the hands of Ben Thomas. Tight end can't hang on. Henry, the 3rd leading rusher in the nation, 141 yards per game. 1st in the nation, 8.7 yards per carry. Tonight he's been held to 40 on 8 carries.
The thing I don't like about that is 8 carries. The guy's averaging 5 yards per carry. Give him the football more.
That's the surprise. Like you said, 2 early ones. Went for 6. Is a nice burst.
I say nothing.
Still on his feet. Takes about half the defense to finally corral him at the 38.
I say nothing. You got a guy who's averaging almost a first down a carry, and he's running the ball 5 to 7 times. Forget about it. Now this guy here, Leonard Henry, is running a counter play here. Now number 77, Aaron Walker, makes a good block there. And I tell you what I like about this kid. Notice the yards after the carry. He's going to play in the Hula Bowl, and I'll bet you the pro scouts will like the way he runs the football.
18 yards. At a 1st and 10, 38-yard line. Under 12 minutes in the 3rd. Short drop. Garrard with the out pass. And this one complete. First catch of the night for Edwin Rios.
In defense of Doug Martin, the offensive coordinator. Coach, I agree with you. Try to get the ball and try to establish a ground game with Leonard Henry. He's averaging 8.7 yards per carry, but Louisville, because of their defense and the way they're playing, they're able to play a lot of man and then overload that box. We see it every single week. And I think that's what's kind of intimidating East Carolina from trying to run the football.
They got 6 in the box right now.
Yeah. But for the most part, they're playing with a lot of people, and I think they're winning the battle up front.
But I think what you have to do in a football team is establish a run so that you can stop the pass rush. The reason why they were putting so much pressure on David Garrard before is they weren't worried about the run. Just run it at him. If nothing else, keep those linemen in there tight. Now run this thing again until you get the first down and then come out smoking.
Logan had it in Henry's hands again. That time comes up a little bit short.
ECU.
Doug Martin, 10th year on the staff, 6th year as offensive coordinator. Has 3rd and about a foot. And Garrard will sneak in the big 249-pounder, pounds his way to midfield.
Their offense is based on balance. One of 9 teams coming in to average over 200 yards rushing and passing. So you're right, they have to go back to being balanced because remember their first couple of tries, Louisville's defense didn't know whether it was going to be a run or whether it was a throw. They were back on their heels, and East Carolina was dictating the tempo. And that's what I think they're trying to get back to now because they've been able to run the football. Now Louisville's a little bit more at their mercy with the play call.
They've missed their last 5 third down conversions before that one. Now Garrard running for his life and sacked again. Loss of 4, Bobby LeFew, redshirt freshman defensive tackle, his 5th sack of the year. Scott Lopez, the other defensive tackle there to help him. 3rd Louisville sack of the night, their 37th of the year. And Dwayne White still in there playing with the broken hand suffered in the first half.
He's giving you everything he has.
Louisville's a good defensive team now. They got 10 guys coming back next year off this defensive football team.
One senior starter, linebacker Jeremy Freitag. Over the middle for Arnie Powell in the tight end. Inside the 35 of the Cardinals. 21 yards from Garrard. Freitag with the tackle on Powell.
The reason I like this drive is listen to these names. Arnie Powell, tight end. Kirk, show us what he did that time.
Well, he came right across. The ball's deflected, but he's still focused. He's a former wide receiver that they moved to tight end to get more speed on the field.
That was LeFew that got an elbow on the ball. Powell showing a great concentration to ignore that and bring it in. Timeout, Cardinals. 9:45 of the third. Trying to stop another Pirate drive.
Your local Acura dealer.
Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium.
Yeah.
Near capacity. The East Carolina campus enjoying it so far. This matchup of unbeatens in Conference USA with the inside track to the Liberty Bowl. And no worse than a share of the league crown.
Take on BYU, the classic Liberty Bowl.
BYU marching toward the Mountain West. We've got Utah to deal with. Leonard Henry will lose a yard on first down. This drive has featured Henry. Finally up over 50 yards on the night with an 18-yard burst to really kickstart the march. But the balance remains slightly skewed in favor of the passing game for East Carolina tonight.
Leonard Henry, when we sat down with him, said that the way he's changed the most outside of his speed is he's more patient this year as a runner.
Copper in motion as to Alston is going to step back and heave one deep by Powell, and it's picked off. Another Louisville interception. Ronnie Galashaw returns it to the 42-yard line, his 5th interception of the year.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Oh.
They were ready for the exotic.
They were all looking at 5. Arnie Powell.
I was looking at 5.
He's streaking down the sidelines. The only problem was Ronnie Galashaw was just sitting back, waiting and waiting for the ball. Once they throw, you could kind of tell the way it was developing slow. I thought it might be a throwback back to Garrard, but downfield they try to get it to number 5, and Arnie Powell and Galashaw just waited. I was watching it. And they try, you know what, he took too long in getting the ball down.
I was just going to say, the timing was poor. Now, I hope that's not the play that they kind of talked about doing at halftime. They never practiced. Not a good idea.
Ragone starts back by hitting Deion Branch, the 40 of East Carolina. And let's check in quickly with Chris Fowler.
Well, Dave, while Louisville fans await the beginning of the Rick Pitino era on Sunday, they might be interested to know their rivals from Kentucky are struggling at rough tonight against Western Kentucky. Patrick Sparks to Mike Wells. Long scoring drought for the Cats. They're down 5 early second half.
Fowler breaking down some hoops. Mid-season form.
The Hilltoppers always give the Wildcats.
Do they?
Yeah, the reason why, because all those guys want to go to Kentucky and they turn them down.
Quarterback draw. Ragone spread him out with 5 receivers, takes it right up the gut, and picks up 11. This has been punch, counter punch, almost all night.
Yep.
Now Louisville countering.
Great call there. Dave Ragone brings that ability. Spread them all over the place with wide receivers. And it doesn't take a running back to pick up the yards. In a lot of cases with this offense, you're better off running with Dave Ragone.
On the ground this time for Patterson. Steady inside runner all night. They have made him take his gloves off. He had 2 fumbles at Cincinnati. Coach said, why don't you try it with just skin on ball? But you can see he's gone back to the old look.
It's like he's gone half and half. Got the Corey Dillon look going. He's got the fingers on it.
A compromise has been reached. 50 carries, 45 yards for T.J. Patterson.
If he fumbles again, I bet you won't have those gloves on the next time. Forget the compromise.
Well, stumbles. Center may have stepped on his foot, and this play never had a chance. John Williamson there. A brief delay as one of the less cerebral fans in the stadium has gotten on the field. They've quickly taken care of him. Good job by security here. Down right back now. 3rd and 8. Ragone for Branch, hangs on somehow. And a first down to the 17. John Williamson blasted it. Jerome Stewart blasted it. Branch somehow hangs on.
There's frustration from Stewart because everybody on the East Carolina defense knew exactly where Dave Ragone was going on 3rd down. It's crunch time. He has a tendency to look towards Branch, who's his favorite target. And this time, with that arm strength, he was able to get it in there before the defense could converge on Branch.
That's being closer to another 1,000-yard season. 6th catch of the night. This is Tony Stallings. And a flag down. 2 flags, in fact.
Face mask.
Tony Stallings carrying the football for the Cardinals. Jermaine Duncan makes the stop for ECU.
And it is indicated against the defense.
On the play.
Here it's just a matter of whether it's going to be 15 or 5. Boy, what a difference. Instead of 2nd and 10, because they stopped him right at the line of scrimmage, face mask, personal foul. It's going to move the ball all the way down to the 8-yard line.
Jermaine Duckett, who blocked the field goal late in the first half.
Boom, right there.
Yep, and they jerked Tony Stallings back. I've got 2 flags immediately.
The reason why they usually call that is if they take a hold of it and pull his head, that's usually what they call a 15-yard penalty.
So 1st and goal, and Stallings hit for a loss. He'll lose 3. Boy, again, punch, counter punch. Cardinals look like they're getting a little something going. Defense comes right back with a little something. John Williamson in on just about every play this drive.
You've got to use a bootleg or get something. They've got to throw the football down in this area. Try to get to the outside. If you're going to try to run it, maybe mix in a play action or a bootleg to get to the outside. But they've got to throw down here.
2nd and goal, just inside the 12. Ragone steps up, fires, complete, touchdown, Dion Branch, and the Cardinals have their first lead of the night. From 14-0 and 21-10 down, the Cardinals 25-21 up. And they finally finish the deal. Not having to settle for 3 this time. They will again try to go for 2. Push the margin up to 6. 3 receivers in a triangle pattern for Ragone to look on the left side. And he tried to swing it to Tony Stallings. It was never going to work. Anthony Adams had it sniffed out. 57-yard drive. All set up by the Galashaw interception. And finished, as so many have been the last couple of years, by Ragone to Branch. Cardinals lead. Zeke Parker got the second half started with a 91-yard kickoff return. So we get to Louisville within 2. And then after the Galashaw interception, they take it 57 yards in 8 plays. Dion Branch. And his pattern right to the pylon. Ragone hit him on a scramble. And Louisville up for the first time tonight, 25-21. Kicks have been unreturnable all night, and another one that Marvin Towns has to take on the knee.
All right, let me show you why this play works on a telestrator. It's called a pylon play. Everybody in football has it. The receiver's responsibility is to drive the ball right to the pylon. As you see, You'll see it the left-hand side of your picture right there. The pylon will come right up there, right there. The quarterback's responsibility is to throw the ball to the pylon. Right now, throw it to the pylon. Boom. Perfect. That's a great play.
Gerard starts with a completion. Derek Collier. Collier, his favorite target tonight, is 6th catch. Josh Minkins right there for the stop.
It took Ragone to get the ball there a little bit longer because he had to once again avoid the rush of Jawarin Blair, who pushed him to the outside. But again, as he's done all night, kept his composure and his vision downfield and made that throw to the pylon.
This is Henry. And may have lost it at the end of the run. He did, and it's recovered by Louisville. A Leonard Henry fumble. After a first down gain, and Steve Logan has this sinking feeling. Another second half not going the Pirates' way. Third Carolina turnover.
Everywhere you go when you're in Greenville, North Carolina, people are talking about the second half disasters. What's happened? What's the reason? What's going on? Tonight, it's been a matter of Louisville expecting to make plays. In tonight's certain circumstances, the return of the opening half, second half, kickoff for a touchdown. They've had momentum. They've had their body language. You can see it from up here. They're walking around with a higher level of confidence right now.
Double pass. T.J. Patterson going to be close to the first down. Another tackle by Williamson. One Pirate who has not let down a bit in the second half.
Sometimes teams have a tendency to talk about something so much it becomes a psychological barrier. In my opinion, the quarterback in the situation, that was just a fumble by a great running play. I wouldn't worry about it. I mean, that's a great running back. Henry's a great running back. Give it back to him. You can come back and score. It's only a 4-point deficit. The game's not over yet.
Be careful because they'll go for the jugular.
Second and 1, going for it right here. Back of the end zone and overthrown. Intended for J.R. Russell. Russell had a step on Travis Hill. On the fumble by Henry.
Yes.
He's going to give Bobby LeFew credit for knocking it free. Right there. And boy, tough to see who comes up with it in that bad scramble. I think they're going to credit Jeremy Freitag with the recovery. Patterson to the 17. He'll move the chains. Another tackle by Williamson, but another Louisville first down. And you really do sense how the air has been totally sucked out of this stadium. Third quarter started on a terrible omen for the Pirates as they give up a 91-yard kick return and downhill from there. They have not mustered anything. Patterson. I don't think it's anything here. Where the thing really seemed to turn was that throwback where they expected to catch everybody napping, get a big touchdown on the Alston throw to Powell, and Galashaw read it perfectly, intercepted, and they have not reinflated their confidence and enthusiasm at all since.
And Louisville's capitalized. They really have.
In this situation, this formation, they've had 3 guys to the right here. Oh, keep your eye on number 9, Deion Branch at the bottom of the picture. They like him here.
Ragone looking his way.
Nothing. Now what they're doing here, and the reason why they can't cover Branch, is they're sending someone like Ronnie Gent. They're sending a tight end deep to cover everybody, take everybody deep, and then they're slipping them on the sideline. Take a look at it, Kirk. Show it to us with that film.
Well, the tight end is going to get vertical, and it's going to hold the safety up right on the hash. You see him on the hash.
That's it, 2 guys.
Therefore, there's nobody to the outside who can sit with the speedy Branch. And you leave Branch one-on-one with a corner, he's 9 times out of 10 going to make the play.
A well-designed
just
play.
short of the first. Patterson, touchdown.
I think it's...
Just needed 1 for the first. He got all 8
for the 6, and it's Louisville by 10. And they've run off 21 unanswered points.
You kind of get the feeling, you know why this team is 9-1. They got down 14-0, didn't lose their composure, and they fought all the way back now to have an 11-point lead.
6 straight wins, 4 in a row by double figures since their only loss of the year, 34-10 at Illinois. They are rolling. They've converted turnovers into touchdowns on the last 2 possessions. Quarter completely dominated, literally from the opening kick by the Louisville Cardinals, who have stormed from 14 back to 11 up, 2:27 to go, 32-21. And now up to East Carolina. Again, try and sustain something. Last 2 drives ending in an interception and a fumble. Both converted into touchdowns by opportunistic Louisville offense. Towns all night having to settle for touchbacks. So the Pirates will have to march 80 yards.
Look at 2 things, Kirk. You could take Branch right there, and I'll take Willard right there. Watch the play of these men pulling and the blocking there. You take Branch first, and I take Willard. All right, now what's Willard? Number 63 coming around blocking. Number 9, Branch right there, Kirk. Talked a lot about his receiving. Nice block, huh?
We've been talking about him all night, making plays with his hands and with his feet, but he's also showing a toughness to be able to block.
Start with a draw play for Leonard Henry. A gain of 7.
When you're a wide receiver, this is how you earn respect as well from your teammates. You make blocks downfield. Blocking to an offense from wide receivers is just as important as making the big catch. For young wide receivers out there, I promise you right now, if you want more playing time, learn how to block downfield, and you'll get yourself out in the field to have a chance to make catches.
Even if you're only 5'10", 190 like Deion Branch. The effective drive will keep first down and crunched at the 34. And only a guy his size and strength, 249 pounds, pure muscle, gets up, shakes that one off.
Dave, we've talked a lot about all year about good football teams answer. East Carolina tonight has not been answering the threats of Louisville. Louisville has been answering the threats, and that's why they're winning. It's imperative that they at least get 3 here. Imperative.
A good start to this possession. Swing pass for Henry. Immediately, he's got 3 white jerseys surround him, and with a favorable spot, they may give him the line of scrimmage. Right tag, Michael Brown. Right tag who recovered the Henry fumble on the last possession. The only senior starting on this defense. 10 are back next year.
One of the reasons this play wasn't successful, Louisville's defense is dropping way back, but as Garrard dropped back, watch his head. Just that little hesitation looking over to his receiver brought about 4 defensive players way up and put him now in the second long. If he would have gotten rid of it quicker, it would have given his back more room.
Hasn't run the option in a while, and Garrard, nice fake and a keep for 5. Right tag again on the tackle. Brian Gaines there to join him.
Talked about answering. Not only do they have to answer what's happening tonight, they also have to answer what's happened these last 3 weeks. There's a lot that East Carolina right now is battling mentally. It's not just a physical battle against Louisville. It's a mental game as well.
See if they get the snap off or let the quarter run out. And they get the snap too late. The end of the 3rd quarter. And the Louisville Cardinals and Dave Ragone are 15 minutes away from a 2nd straight Conference USA championship. We're in Greenville, North Carolina, city of about 56,000, 80 miles east of Raleigh. One of the tall times of eastern North Carolina. 15 minutes to go. And a crowd that has been electric most of the night is deflated at the moment because their team has led almost all the way. They now find themselves down 11 and looking at a 3rd and 5 to begin the 4th quarter.
Gerard again settling for the screen. Henry, 2 men to beat. He may just do it. Going to come up a little bit short. They'll mark him out of the 43. Run down by Josh Minkins. But Henry lowers his shoulder 5 yards away from the first down marker and comes up pretty close just on his own 1-2.
If he didn't go out of bounds, he would have been a lot closer. Tough runner.
And about 1.5 yards short of the marker. Reluctantly sending the punt team back out. Jared Preston had LeFew running right at him, got it off Lloyd inside the 20. That's where it'll end. Williamson, another tackle. Well, the second half omen was the opening kick. And it turns into the 4th career touchdown return for Zeke Parker.
The University of Louisville has had 3 takeaways tonight, and that has been the difference in the ball game. This one, Ronnie Galashaw makes a great play. Woo! Great play.
Henry's not been able to get on track tonight. He fumbled the football there to give Louisville the ball back here in the second half.
Fired up Pirate defense showing up here. Patterson manhandled by Duckett, who had the costly personal foul face mask on the last possession. He also has a blocked field goal to his credit. Tim Rose's group needing a quick 3 and out, more than they've needed one all night. That's a good start. A loss of 4.
Somebody needs to make a play for East Carolina. They need to create a turnover. Something needs to happen to get their momentum back in the favor of the Pirates.
Only Louisville turnover was on their second possession, the interception by Greg Cooper.
Pump fake running deep and free. Branch chased down by Kelly Hardy. Dion Branch running right through double coverage for 58 yards.
Dave, I apologize for saying uh-oh there, but it was I saw it coming.
You said it, a lot of Purple and Gold fans were thinking it.
Well, once he gave the pump, Branch has been setting this up because they've had so much success with the underneath stuff. That time he gave a half-hearted look, and Kelly Hardy jumped on it, and then Branch went right around him, and they're very fortunate that that ball took him to the outside, or Branch would still be running all the way into the end zone.
And with that, he has his second straight 1,000-yard season. B.J. Patterson for the 18, a gain of 9.
That's going to be an unnecessary penalty, absolutely, because he put his helmet. They will not allow in college football for a football player to lead with his helmet, and that's exactly what it is right there against East Carolina.
Right about the same spot they had the personal foul face mask.
Yep.
Called on Duckett.
If you'll notice, referees in college will not allow the helmet first because so many neck injuries.
It's a late hit here.
Right there, you see his helmet? Helmet on,
he could have hit him with a foot. I mean, he was down.
Yeah, but it's
a late hit.
It's helmet
I understand
down.
the helmet-to-helmet deal. He was down for almost 2 seconds.
But if he goes after him, kind of slides with him, maybe he does it. But when you put your helmet down, it's automatic. Bing! No matter how much time.
Well, Travis Heath, sophomore safety, guilty. First and goal, 9-yard line. They've reset both tight ends. And give it to Patterson. Stuff, no gain. Lefevre.
It's getting a little chippy out there. A lot of talking going back and forth between both teams. Dion Branch, number 9, right in the middle of it. And Travis Heath, 45 for East Carolina. Whenever you have this, getting into the 4th quarter, it's been a battle. This is where the referees have to take control, and that's where you're going to see dead ball, personal foul, and that typically will settle the 2 teams down.
Stallings in for Patterson. And His dive will get him right around the 5-yard line. Again, Brett Reeve arranging over for the tackle. Boy, how big is it here to hold Louisville to 3, keep it a 14-point game?
Guys, I need that goal line, all right?
Time still at almost 12 and a half minutes, but you're looking at an East Carolina offense that really hasn't threatened in a long while. 2 touchdowns would be plenty on their play.
There he is at the bottom of the screen. He's got one-on-one matchup with Jerome Stewart. See if he can find an opening.
Ragone with the quick turn in by Branch for another Louisville touchdown.
What you saw while he was lined up, you saw the quarterback walk up to the line, and he called the play that he wanted. It's usually either a fade or a quick slant down inside the 5-yard line. He and Branch saw the exact same thing, an opportunity to stem the corner and then cut to the inside, and he left Jerome Stewart back there. Good throw, touchdown, Cardinals.
When you look at that play, Jerome Stewart was actually inside of the perfect position, but he was so slow to react. Boy, old Branch just went deep inside, huh? Dave, good play.
I'll say 39-21 Cards.
As a
Deion Branch definitely the celebrating move. The Cardinals have run off 29 unanswered points since that DeMarcus Fox trick play. They punt Ruski like untouched touchdown, made it 21-10 East Carolina. Ragone and the Cardinals have not been touched since then. They have opened up an 18-point lead in the game they once trailed by 14.
Remember, Ragone's first pass was intercepted for a touchdown. He's come back very well.
Finally, a chance for Towns to return a kick. Last 4 possessions have started on the 20 for East Carolina. Not this one. Quite a bit closer to the 36. And with 11:49 to go, down by 18 points, East Carolina with a share of the championship at stake. Must unleash a pretty amazing quarter. Liberty in the future of the Cardinals. One would think it would be impossible even if they end up co-champs. The game at TCU next week turned down Louisville with 10 wins, and Garrard does well to get that one off anywhere near Marcus White. And let's go down to Jerry Punch.
And I'm with Steve Earhart, Executive Director of the Axel Liberty Bowl. And Steve, if Louisville were to hold on, and even if they were a co-champion, I think you guys would be hard-pressed not to bring Louisville to the Liberty Bowl.
Well, it's been a great performance by 2 quality teams playing for the league title. Our conference champion comes to Memphis to play in the Axel Liberty Bowl. They will have won at 10 games this year, nationally ranked, and we may have a surprise for them in their locker room at the end of the game.
Would that be an option, or would you give them the bid if they won, if they hang on and win tonight?
Well, Jerry, why don't you come on in there and we'll have something special for them.
All right, hang on to ESPN News for later on. I got to ask you as you watch this play here, guys.
And it is Derek Collier with a first down to the 47. Back down to Jerry.
Steve, your stance on BYU, and if they were to go unbeaten, be 13-0, about the possibility of them in the BCS, or will they come to the Liberty Bowl?
Well, our contract with the Mountain West provides that their champion will come play the champion of the Conference USA. So we fully expect the Mountain West to supply their champion. If BYU wins that championship, we'll see them right there in Memphis on December 31st.
All right, could have 2 highly ranked teams in the Liberty Bowl, in the Axel Liberty Bowl this year, guys.
Well, that would be some matchup. Best Liberty Bowl in memory. Torrey Morris inside the 40. Because you would have potentially an 11-1 Louisville and a 13-0 BYU. So Lee Mail now, correct from Kansas City, does the winner of this game stand a chance against BYU in the Liberty Bowl if BYU is running on all cylinders? And they have every game except their narrow escape at Wyoming last week. Whistles before the snap. That's a fun matchup to contemplate. How do you think they do?
Well, first of all, I tell you right now, and I'm telling you right now, long time in advance, if BYU plays Louisville in the Liberty Bowl, it will be the highest scoring game of all the bowls.
You told us that Colorado State, Louisville last
Exactly. BYU will not stop Louisville, and Louisville guaranteed not stop BYU.
Can we come back to that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Nobody's come close to stopping BYU. Alston inside the 20.
First, we have to discuss if BYU, I disagree with Steve a little bit. BYU, there is a discussion there, even though they're going to be Mountain West Conference champions, they still have a shot in an at-large bid to the BCS. I personally don't think they'll be one of the two teams as an at-large. So if you match them up against Louisville, I don't see BYU stopping them, you're right. But I think it becomes who's going to win the time of possession. They want to try to keep the ball away from each other.
Gerard will keep. And this promising East Carolina possession now reaches the 10 of Louisville.
But I will say this. If they get that matchup, Louisville at that point, if they can win this game and then beat TCU, they will be a top 12, probably close to the top 12 in the country, playing a top 6 or 7 team in BYU outside of the BCS games. What a bowl in Memphis, the Liberty Bowl, between a potential BYU and Louisville. That'd be a great game.
You know what?
BCS quality.
Yeah, that's a heavyweight.
No question. If these guys score, make it 39-28, I mean, it ain't over.
No.
I mean, they could make a good play and still, and you know what? They would mess up all of our discussion.
Yeah, it would kill the last 5 minutes.
I mean, we would have nothing to talk about.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh,
you will find
Has that ever happened with you guys?
No.
No, are you kidding me?
The order,
Are you kidding
subject, sit back, right?
I mean, I know it's way in the future, but these guys could score here with 10 minutes to go in the game, and I'm telling you one thing, you never know.
Holding half the distance, first and goal from the 5, and Gerard, of course, may make the line of scrimmage. And then they cough it up after the whistle. No fumble. Bobby LeFew thought he had it.
Ball came out, but forward progress obviously called there by the officials.
What do you think John L. thinks about it? He thinks quick whistle.
Second and goal.
No gain, but no loss. Second and goal. They throw the fade, and that's going to be interference as Alston got tangled up. Galashaw back there with Anthony Floyd in the corner of the end zone. And if Coach Smith didn't like the previous play, he's really going to hate this one.
First down. Anthony Floyd here got caught. Inside receiver. Austin's going to take into the corner. He just locks up on Austin, doesn't let go of him. It's pass interference.
Yep.
So again, half the distance, 2.5-yard line now, first and goal. Gerard.
There's our guy, Dwayne White.
Got him broken, hand and all. How about Dwayne White?
You know, Kirk, you and I saw this great defensive end named Julius Peppers from North Carolina, and we both said the same thing. He's a wonderful athlete. In my opinion, he's a basketball player playing football. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to see a football player playing football who doesn't get much publicity, but Dwayne White is a man playing better.
On our Thursday night tour, E.J. Henderson and Dwayne White are our two-team captains.
Our two best guys.
Now from the 10 over the middle, that one is juggled and caught! Almost stolen by Louisville, and it turns into a completion for Corey Floyd, just his third catch all year. That went from disaster to a sigh of relief. They outfought each other.
They were fighting for it, and they were taking 95 yards and a touchdown. Floyd hanging in there, just waiting to make a tackle. Next thing he knows, the ball's there.
Off Alston, off Minkins, off Brown. 2 Cardinals made contact with it, and finally it settles into Corey Floyd's hand. Wow, tight end. A timeout called by Louisville. Tight end saving Steve Logan's bacon with 8:33 to go.
That's why we're here. Circuit City. We're with you. And in part by State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Cardinals have been doing all the celebrating, but now 3rd and goal from the 6 for Gerard. With a dive to the end zone. Did he get the pylon? Not quite. They're going to mark him out right at about the 1-yard line. Jeremy Freitag with an angle, and he got in front of the pylon and kept Gerard that far away. It is 4th and goal.
He's got to go for it because a field goal means nothing, 3 points. So I would think that he would run some kind of a play where it's a rollout with a play action ability for Dave Gerard either to run it or throw it. That's what I would do. I would make sure I got this kid number 9, Gerard, outside of the pocket, run or throw for a touchdown. I would not go in the middle.
Give Rod Day an assist on that stop, too.
That's my first guess.
You saw how close Gerard got.
By the way, how about the pictures there? That was pretty nice. Brought it right into your family room there. No, they're not going to call a timeout with an injured player there for Louisville. Now we have a little confusion.
Fourth and goal. Gerard rolling.
That's it right there.
Keeping easy touchdown.
You know, I called before. I said that East Carolina made a stupid call down there just before the half to throw it. That was an excellent call by the offensive staff at East Carolina because you gave the runner-pass option of the quarterback. Terrific call.
Chad Lee, who's missed most of the night with a sprained knee, was late getting into the defensive huddle, and that seemed to throw the rhythm off for Louisville.
The reason that play worked so much is they faked the run play one way, bootlegged it the other way, and a quarterback had the option of running and throwing, and he's a good runner and a good passer.
Now to go for 2 to try and get within 10.
They're still confused.
Yep.
This will be the last Louisville timeout, and it comes with 8 minutes and 20 seconds to go.
I'm going to give you one more stat. This is the 17th straight time that East Carolina's been in the red zone and scored. And they've had now 11 touchdowns out of those 17 straight times. That's pretty good. Now, if you, Kirk, watch this play. We've always liked it a lot. When you're faking a quarterback, the play goes one way. Watch. He makes a good fake. Now he comes out. Kirk explained this to him about the run or pass option, which is a terrific play.
Well, it gets him on the corner. It's a great call when you have an athletic quarterback like Gerard because he could have thrown it to 2 different receivers. Exactly. He also was able to just walk in there for the touchdown. Great call.
Well, we've been tracking this one all night. The Hilltoppers have been scaring the Wildcats. They're up arena, and with 2:32 to go, they lead by 8. Western Kentucky on the verge of knocking off 3rd-ranked Kentucky. When that one's done. Your stat about the red zone is worth looking into a little closer. East Carolina has not been stopped all year from scoring in the red zone. They stopped themselves once. Final play against Army, they let the clock run out. They're already ahead.
Man.
They are perfect in their opportunities inside the 20 all year. Now, can they turn this into 2 in a 10-point game? Gerard feeling heat.
Look at the guy.
From Dwayne White. You may have to break both his hands to keep him from sacking you. One hasn't done the job.
What a play. What a player.
8:20 to go. Still hope for Carolina. That is correct. Sports Center is next. And Dan Patrick and Linda Cohn look at the night before. Bobby Knight debuts with Texas Tech. Peak performer Jolly Roger. That would be Clemens, another Cy Young. And who's the best NFL quarterback prospect? David Carr? A lot of people would say so.
I take Joey Harrington.
Joey Harrington and David Carr, the two.
Yeah.
The top 2.
What about him?
I'll tell you what, he's going to go to the Senior Bowl in Mobile, Alabama. After the game, he's going to be coached by the pros. He'll get a good look. David Gerard is not out of the picture. He's a strong-looking kid like...
Oh, they'll like him.
I like Dante Culpepper. I think they will.
Cardinals bunched up, maybe looking for an onside kick. Instead, Zeke Parker backing up for this return and backs up all the way to the 6. Strategy works to perfection for East Carolina.
If we take a look at Dwayne White here, the defensive end that we've been talking about so much, keep your eye on him. And remember one thing about this man. He was a high school fullback. He's playing with a broken hand. Watch the closing speed right there. Boom. I'll tell you right now, he gets in a two-point stance in the pros, and he's going to be a sensational football player in the pros as an outside linebacker, not as a defensive end.
The best thing about him is his motor. He's always going full speed. Practice, games, it doesn't matter. He's that kind of guy.
I want to go over one more point that you made. Of all the defensive players that I have seen on Thursday Night Football, the two best are E.J. Henderson of Maryland and Dwayne White. Now, I know everybody, Eddie Reed's a great player and all those, but I'm talking about that no one's ever heard of.
Right.
That guy and E.J. Henderson are the two best football players that I've seen that no one's ever heard of.
Plus their attitude guys. Foxhole. They're definitely the kind of guys you want on your side.
This is his 22nd career game. He has 25 sacks already. Not even 2 years into his career. 2 carries, and Tony Stallings has the first down. John Williamson has played just about every second-half tackle, it seems like. Back to Rupp Arena, and looks like the Hilltoppers are going to get it done. Down to 35 seconds left, and the lead is 9. Wow.
You know, it's interesting to me, one thing about, that's the same thing we always talk about football. That's preseason number 3, right?
Yeah.
Hello. And played a game, and all of a sudden they're the third best team in the name because they're Kentucky.
Yep.
It's like Oregon State being the national champion in Sports Illustrated before the season.
Stallings. 3 nice carries. Another first down. Let's go down to Jerry Punch.
Guys talking about Dwayne White and his toughness. You know, everyone's been trying to chip block him throughout the year to try to slow down his pass rush. Now, throughout the last couple of weeks, his lower legs have looked like someone took a sledgehammer to him because of all the chip blocks. He's had so much swelling, so much bruising, that he's been wearing a hockey pad on both lower legs in practice, but he refuses to wear it in the game. He said games are not about pads, guys. Games are about playing full bore. What an athlete, huh?
He was going to Auburn, wanted to go to Auburn as a fullback, but then he got, as you said, he ripped up his knee and went to Louisville. And I tell you what, he is a sensational player, ladies.
Whoever performed that surgery did a pretty good job.
Stallings, 6, 9, and 11 yards on his previous 3 carries. Nothing here. Demain Duckett the stop. You know, think of how many guys you've heard of who had an injury their senior year in high school. Recruiters backed way off, and they had maybe 1 or 2 offers, maybe had to go junior college, and then became Division I stars.
You know the difference between when I coached and it happened? Back then, in those days, you could take 125 players. You could take guys that. Right now, with the 85 scholarship, you can't take any chances.
They're going stumbling as he's chased by Lefevre and Duckett. For as big as he is faster than he has any right to be. He gets away from both and gains 8.
The other thing that's different about that, and why I think colleges should stick with the players that end up having these ACLs, is the technology, the advancement in that surgery in just the last year. That used to be when you had an ACL, it took you 12, 13, or 14 months to come back at 100%. These players today are coming back in 6, 7 months. So if you have a player you're recruiting and he tears the ACL, stick with it. There's no reason to back off anymore because of the way these surgeries continue to advance.
You're sounding more and more like Dr. Jerry.
I forgot we got the doc. Doc can break that down. Help me out, Doc.
60. Here's a 3rd and 2.
Yeah, okay.
This drive has been all Tony Stallings, and it ends as the Pirate defense finally will force the punt with 4:54 to go. Warren Blair, backup defensive tackle, and Steve Logan checking the clock. He's got 2 timeouts left. He needs 2 scores, but there is time now thanks to this stop.
Wade Teleshkop on the Cardinals. For the Pirates.
And they hope they have a miracle in them. Still can pull out this championship showdown, Conference USA. Western Kentucky, did they pull it out at Rupp? They did. In fact, going away, they hold the Wildcats to 52 points on their home floor, and the number 3 ranked team falls 64-52.
And that noise that you just heard when they announced the score came from that section right there. That's the Louisville contingent of fans.
Somewhere Jim McDaniel is all smiles.
So is Rick Pitino.
But see, unlike this sport, a loss, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? You bounce back, get to the tournament, make a run.
Let the play clock run down. And they'll back up 5 yards. Donnell Smith benefited from a kick return touchdown to begin the second half. Now they've got to prevent one with Terrence Copper waiting for this kick by Talashka at his 25-yard line. All-out block was on by the Pirates. They didn't get to him. Copper to the 34 with 4 minutes and 43 seconds to go. Well, earlier we asked about BYU. Should they be considered for an at-large bid? And the no's have it to the tune of 56.5% to 43%. Even at 13-0, people say nope, Liberty Bowl for BYU.
Well, let's not jump to conclusions here. 13-0. Got a tough game this weekend against Utah at Mississippi State. And anytime you go to Hawaii, you got to be careful.
Gerard fumbling the snap. And just does throw that one away. Anthony Floyd never gave up on it. It finally floated out of bounds.
Well, guys, we've talked about their offense, and their offense is as good as anybody in the country. But the concern that I have in looking at BYU and saying, are they deserving, is the defense. Their defense is not ready for the BCS. Their offense is. The offense we can send to either New Orleans or down to Miami or even to Phoenix. But let's keep the defense at home. They're not quite ready to play.
You don't think we win 55-50?
No.
Everybody they play? No. Gerard gets that one off to Marcus White. And White all the way to the 45 and a first down with 4:24 to go. The other thing, they've got Utah at home. And in that series, the worst thing you can be is at home. The road team has won 6 straight Utah BYU games.
May I ask a question? How are you getting from Greenville, North Carolina to Provo, Utah?
You don't want to know.
Thank you.
There won't be any sleep involved. That's one thing I can tell you.
That's optional.
Gerard with time on target. Derek Collier. Flag down. We have a face mask at the end of this run by Collier. 23 yards, regardless of the call.
I know this is crazy, but I'm telling you right now, if I'm Steve Logan, I'll finish after this, but I'm telling you what I do right now. If I was that gentleman right now, I would get 2 things ready. Number 1, I'd get my 2-point play ready, and I'd get my hands team that's going to kick an onside kick. Now you say that's crazy. Well, I'm telling you, that's what you do. You plan in advance, a long way in advance. Get your 2-point play ready and get your onside kick team ready. That's what you need to do to win this game.
5-yard face mask from the 27. Gerard gonna keep it. Crunching block by Collier, helping Gerard get out of bounds at the 15, a gain of 12.
Nice block.
First and 10, ECU.
Draw play, Henry. Great call. Henry's inside the 5, and it's first and goal. Somehow you just knew, even at 39-21, it wasn't over.
You called it. Now get your onside kick team ready, Kirk. You know why? Because what you have to do is get these guys psychologically ready to say, all right, get ready. We're going to do it because we're going to score. We're going to score on a bootleg again.
Henry's first carry of the fourth quarter sets up first and goal. Fumbled snap by Gerard. And they're able to get it back. Gerard falls on his own fumble. Boy, that's the last thing you worry about with a senior quarterback.
Regardless of what happens here, they still not only need to get the ball back, they're going to need another touchdown. So this is really important that they score as quickly as possible.
Alston in motion on second and goal. Throw forward in the end zone, and he got it. Touchdown.
As I was saying before, East Carolina and BYU would make a good Liberty Bowl game, wouldn't it?
Hell yeah.
Alston has yet to get up after this touchdown catch.
It's a timing route. As a quarterback, he's going to put this ball just to a spot and rely on his wide receiver to run to that spot. That's perfectly executed. Tough for Louisville to defend that when the ball is thrown right on the money the way it was right there.
Well, the junior from Warrenton, North Carolina.
Touchdown for ECU.
Finally up on his feet. Now the extra point driven through by Kevin Miller, and we have a 5-point game. Almost 3 minutes to go. Touchdown drives of 64 and 67 yards by East Carolina after they fell down 18 points.
David Gerard is really showing the pros something here. The pro football coaches like to find out what a player can do in the last part of a game. And that's a perfectly lobbed pass, as you said. He threw to a spot to make the touchdown play. I think he has played better in the last two series because they let him kind of go. The game was over type thing. If they'd have done that in the third quarter, they might not be in this position.
The other thing that shows as a team, we've talked all game about how, boy, they started off so well in the last 2 weeks, but they didn't finish. Well, now this week, they started off strong, and then they hit a lull, and then they got way behind, and now they've shown that they do have the ability to play 4 quarters and fight back. So you're right. Give them a lot of credit, not only David Gerard as a leader of the offense, but the entire East Carolina football team. They're now in a position where if they can cover this onside kick, they got a shot. Down to 2 timeouts. So if you're Louisville, you want to recover the onside kick if they go onside kick and get 1 first down. I would pick up 1 first down, the game's over.
I would go onside kick here because they've got to take a chance at it. It's going to be very difficult. I still got 2 timeouts. I might be able to stop and get the ball and have to go back in a minute or 2, but I'd go the onside kick, take a chance for the championship right here.
They've got everybody lined up on the left side. Oh, Miller is threatening a quick kick there. And a flag on delay of game. Odd.
I'm not going to say remember I told you before? Yeah. Remember when they were driving, I said to you, as a coach, what you do is you get your onside kick now ready to go 3 minutes before you score. So you don't have this kind of a situation. I don't know. Well, it bothers me because I've seen these things happen before in my life. And what you do is you prepare 3 minutes before in a ball game. And they were not prepared. Well, maybe
or were they? Did they do that just to make
it's almost
think
like
one type of kick was coming?
It's
That
like
was
the NBA where they get to delay.
Maybe. You might
and then
be
they
right.
just try to check
Maybe I'm wrong.
There's no onside kick at all.
Maybe that's right.
Well, all part of the plan. Parker, the 18, 2 minutes and 49 seconds for Louisville to try and run out 2 timeouts for Steve Logan. Now you have to assume that was deliberate.
No question. They wanted to see how they were going to set up. It reminds me, you see it in the NBA, all of a sudden, just trying to see a reaction. He gave him the double. He gave him the double thing.
Well, maybe I owe Steve Hogan an apology then, because I would have kicked the onside kick without all the
fancy razzle-dazzle.
Right. Now, I might be wrong, but that was a good move on his part. That's what he wanted to do.
For Louisville, it's just about getting a first down.
And the Cardinals have relied on Tony Stallings to grind out the clock in the fourth quarter. Ty Hunt makes the stop. Now, when do you call your timeout?
Interesting. They're going to elect to hold the 2 timeouts and hope that they can stop them on these 2 plays.
Right.
They're going to let the clock go here, and the next 2 plays, they're going to use their timeouts and hope that they can prevent Louisville from picking up a first down.
One thing defensively, I'm first guessing, I'm not second guessing. I'm telling you, they got double coverage on the wideouts. Forget about it. Put everybody you can in there to make a tackle and single cover. You see the 3 guys that they have right here?
They're coming up.
Go get them. Go get them.
Stallings.
Right there.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
And Tony Stallings will have first down yardage to the 29. That will put a crimp in your plans.
That,
Clock at 2:01, stopping for the chains. Stallings able to keep the chains moving.
it's a battle of the trenches. Who's going to win the battle up front? East Carolina committed the secondary. They brought him down, but Louisville's offensive line got the push that they needed. And now the clock's ticking. Still have 2 timeouts remaining.
9th carry of the fourth quarter for Stallings. Although most of the way it was T.J. Patterson in the Louisville backfield. Now the second timeout for the Pirates with 1:32. And that gives us a chance to check our Miller Lite storyline. It has had some twists and turns in it tonight. Second half dominated from the opening kick return of 91 yards by Zeke Parker. 26-13 Cardinals. Ragone near 300 yards. He did throw his first conference interception of the year with 3 touchdowns, and Branch has his second straight 1,000-yard receiving year. 10 catches, 161, and 2 touchdowns. While Leonard Henry is just barely half of his usual 141 rushing yards on only 14 carries. He is not figured in very heavily to the game plan. He did get him the early 14-0 lead. And then almost an afterthought at that point.
55 left in the second half. It is East Carolina University 63, Northwestern 56.
Well, 1 timeout, 1:32 to go. Somebody's got to tackle the ball. That's pretty much what they're down to now.
Good point.
Probably will, I'm guessing, save the timeout for 3rd down. Hope that they can try to get Louisville to a 3rd down and then use it there.
And this is what I'm going back to the point about the onside kick. To me, you're playing for the championship. You got a chance to win it. You take a shot at the onside kick because percentages are you're not going to stop these guys from making a first down or 2. I'm talking about percentages.
Parker breaks 1 tackle just to the 35. It'll be 3rd and 4. And the clock rolling to 1:20. Now they'll stop it with the last timeout. This meeting a year ago, it was Logan's team that led 28-10, 18-point lead, barely held on to win by 3, 28-25. They were down 18 in the fourth quarter tonight, and they've come back within 5 and just about out of hope now. Although they came in already bowl eligible with 6 wins. So the question was where, and Louisville, 1:21 away from accepting a bid to their 2nd straight Liberty Bowl to take on the Mountain West champion. All indications are that the invitation will be extended if they hang on to this thing. And then the other spots are in Mobile for the GMAC Bowl against the MAC, the 2nd annual GalleryFurniture.com Bowl in Houston against the Big 12, and the Motor City also against the Mid-American. So you'll look for East Carolina. They were in the inaugural GalleryFurniture.com, beat Texas Tech there last year.
These are 2 good football teams. This is the 2nd time that Doc, Lee, and myself have seen Louisville in the last 4 or 5 weeks. And if they're able to hold on to a win here, this is a big win for their program. They go on the road and beat TCU, go to a bowl game, potentially a top 10 finish. If they can keep winning football games, that's a heck of a year.
Stallings
has carried on 11 of the last 12 plays for Louisville. He is stopped well short of the first down marker by Jerome Stewart and John Williamson, and the clock cannot be stopped now by Carolina. Out of timeouts as we reach the final minute of the game.
Get about probably 30, 35 seconds or so. Get the ball back. They're going to have to go for the block here.
But one thing interesting you said in the pregame show, and David Garrard told us, he could throw the ball 80 yards. Remember? Yeah. 75 yards. Well, we're going to see this, partner.
We are.
We're going to see how far he can throw the ball, because he's going to get a chance at it right now.
You're right.
Looked like the play clock expired. And now the late whistles and flags with 33 seconds.
This is where, you know, when you're in the middle of 2 days and you're practicing and everybody's sweating, and you look over to the kickers and look like they might as well have the 7-iron over there with their lemonade. This is where snaps and things like extra points and punts, you take it for granted. But in a case like this is why it's so important.
Perfect snap. Alaska gets off a beauty, and it's going to be fair caught by Terrence Copper at the 26 with 25 seconds to go.
Did you notice that snap was perfect? By Chip Manningley, the son of a guy who played for me named Manningley. Did I get a chance?
There you go. I put that on the tee for you. Just let you know. I put that on the tee.
That's right. Boy, you're getting old. And boy, the senior snapper at Louisville, his father played for you.
No timeouts. Important to pick up first downs to stop the clock. Batter get out of bounds.
74 yards away.
Not yet. He's not going to have to throw it that far yet.
Draw.
One-man rush.
Not yet.
Garrard, the out, complete. Alston gets to the 45 of Louisville.
Exactly what she wants. Send two guys deep. You think they're going to throw the Hail Mary? Then cut a guy out at about 25 yards.
29 yards to be exact.
No need to hurry. You guys, the ball went out of bounds. Have a chance to huddle up and get to the line of scrimmage.
Garrard, a season-high 284 yards through the air. Needs 45 more to complete the job. Steps up, gets away from LeFew for the end zone into double coverage and incomplete. Intended for Torrey Morris. With 9 seconds, he can take maybe 2 more shots, probably 1.
Steve Logan shouting out the play that he wants. This is where, you know, we're talking a lot about East Carolina, but for Louisville, this is where Josiah and White and Thomas, the defensive linemen, we've been talking about how great they are up front. I know they're tired, but this is where you got to get pressure.
Conference championship in the balance. Hail Mary to the end zone. Incomplete. And Louisville, for just the second time in their history, has a 10-win season. They have clinched no worse than a share of their second straight Conference USA championship. And look for Louisville in the Liberty Bowl again.
Well, how many times do you see the Hail Mary? You just hope to have an opportunity, considering they were down by so many points. They scored 13 straight to get back into this football game. They needed this, and the best thing that Garrard did was he bought himself some time. He stepped up into the pocket, allowed the receivers to get down into position, and now it's just a matter of who's going to get the tip. We've seen already in the NFL this year work. I remember the Bears hit a big one against the Browns. You're looking for the tip. One guy needs to push it up in the air, and the other man needs to dive and make the catch, and just inches.
This is the first time Louisville's ever won 2 conference championships in a row. Great effort by Coach Smith and his staff.
7 wins in a row for the Cardinals. They are 10-1. They hang on, 39-34. Now stay tuned for SportsCenter coming up next on ESPN. For more from East Carolina, tune over to ESPN News. Join us as we do a complete post-game wrap-up in just a few minutes. With Lee Corso, Kirk Herbstreit, Jerry Punch, and our entire ESPN crew, Dave Barnett, so long from Greenville. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the World.